morning. I am Delia Blake, your VP of Academics for the CMU Students Union, and I am here to welcome you to our opening exercise for our orientation. Let me first start off by giving welcome to our CMU Interim President, Professor Evan Dugan, our Deputy President of CMU, Professor Ibrahim Ajaguna, CMU VP of Administration and Registry, Dr. Ingleton, other CMU Vice Presidents, our academic deans, and our Director of Students Affairs, Donnet Phillips. Let me also welcome our President of the CMU Students Union, Stephanie Green, and other CMU members. Lastly, and by no means least, let me welcome our new students because we would not be here if it wasn't for you. With that being said, let us start off with prayer. Our prayer will be done by Mrs. Tisha Walker-Brown, who is our Assistant Director of Students Affairs. Over to you, Mrs. Walker-Brown.
Let us invite the presence and the blessings of our Lord. Sovereign God, Almighty in all your ways, Father, we ask that, Lord, you will transcend into this space physically and into the virtual space, Father. I pray, Lord God, that you will bless every person, Lord, under the hearing of my voice, that you will also, Father God, bless the proceedings of today's orientation exercise. Father, our intent at the Caribbean Maritime University is to ensure that all our students, Father, have a good experience academically and, Lord, as it relates to their other related functions. We ask that even as our new students join the journey with us at the CMU, that, Father, you will chart their path. Lord God, that good success will follow them and that the spirit of excellence will reside upon them. I pray, Lord, even as they come into this university family, that, Lord God, they will open their hearts and their minds to learn, Lord God, new experiences and new things. And, Father, that they will immerse themselves into their education. And I pray, Lord, that every student, Lord, who starts out with us this academic year will indeed complete their academic journey in the time allotted. We want to just commit this academic year, this new term to you, Father, and we ask that your blessings will be upon everything and every aspect that, Lord God, will unfold. Lord, we commit everything, all our leadership, Lord God, everything that will be planned for our students. We ask for your blessings, Lord. We commit today to you, and we say, Father, bless it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Walker-Brown. That was truly spiritual, and so we know we will have a blessed day. Now, without further ado, we will have our welcome being done by Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, our Vice President of Administration and our University Registrar. Over to you, Dr. Ingleton.
Thank you so much, Moderator Delia Blake. Interim President, Professor Evan Dugan, Deputy President, Professor Ibrahim Ajaguna, all Vice Presidents and other members of the CMU Executive Team, Ms. Donnet Phillips, Director, Student Affairs, Mrs. Keisha Walker-Brown, Assistant Director, Students Affairs, Ms. Stephanie Green, Students Union President, and most importantly today, incoming members of the class of 2025, good morning. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has meant that you have to be joining us virtually for day one of our annual orientation exercise. And so I cannot get the chance to see you face to face this morning, to speak with you and otherwise connect with you in the same way I would if we were face to face at the Festa Auditorium, where orientation activities have been held in recent years. But I hope that on the other side of these screens, you are smiling, having paused to recognize that you have taken a big step on your journey into the world of work. You have been accepted to read for a degree. In a country where less than 20% of the population has a tertiary education, that, my students, is a big step. Many of you may be the first members of your family or even your community to attend a university. That is indeed a big step. Many families across the globe have struggled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In some instances, they are not in a position to support students, much like yourselves, who want the opportunity to further their education. Some of you, your families have faced challenges, but despite the challenges and the odds in these unprecedented times, you are forging ahead. That is undoubtedly a big step. Congratulations on taking a big step, and thank you for taking that step with us. We know that you have choices, and we're elated that you have chosen to join the community of excellence here at the Caribbean Maritime University. Among the community that you have joined are thousands of graduates dating back to the very first year of the CMU, which began as the Jamaica Maritime Training Institute on September 15, 1980. They include gains in the maritime and related sectors, seafarers, maritime engineers, captains of industry, business, and social entrepreneurs. Much like you're doing today, they started their journey here at the CMU and have gone on to make a real difference. But as the late American philanthropist Helen Keller put it, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. So even as you start your journey, it's important to take a moment to pause and recognize and pay tribute to those who have helped you get this far and whose support you will need in the days, the weeks, the months, and the years ahead. Even after you have completed your journey here at CMU, and yes, you will complete your journey here at CMU. This is your moment, my students. But permit me just a second again to welcome you and indeed celebrate the parents, the guardians, the family members, and friends who have been watching this ceremony. Thank you for the encouragement and the support that you have offered and that you continue to offer. Back though, for the moment, the class of 2025. Your years at university are very important. They are not to be taken lightly. So while you are here, we encourage you to strike a healthy balance between your academic studies and your enjoyment of rich co-curricular opportunities. Certainly, for the next couple of months, you will be studying remotely, so it is perhaps doubly important that you not only focus on your academic pursuits, but work on developing yourselves holistically. Our goal here at CMU is to educate you as a whole person, and we recognize that some of the important lessons you will learn will take place outside of the lecture theater, the laboratory, and the library. We aim to give you the opportunity to spread your wings within a safe and exciting environment. At the end of your studies, you will leave this university with not only a world-class qualification, but you will also leave with friends that you will cherish for a lifetime. And so best of luck in your studies on this new journey, and do not forget to make it count. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much. And I know after that presentation that Dr. Ingleton gave, you must indeed feel welcomed. So up next, we have Miss Stephanie Green, our Students' Union President, who will be giving us a brief greeting to keep you welcomed and feeling entertained. Miss Green?
Thank you, Ms. Blake. A new school year means new beginnings, new adventures, new friendships, and of course, new challenges. The slate is clean, and anything can happen. The most important day of a person's university life is not graduation day, as we may be all anticipating. It's the first day where the foundation is laid. Good morning, new Spartans. It really is a pleasure to be greeting you all this morning. I am Stephanie Green, and I will be serving as your president for this academic year. I must say, this venture will all be what you make it. It's not about perfection, but more so about efforts. Your efforts at that. Your efforts to achieve your goals, to lay your foundation, and to do the things that your future self would be proud of. This academic year will not be without challenges, but you have just joined a very supportive family, the CMU family, here to uplift and, of course, support you. So head on, press on, and stay strong. Let's focus on doing the right and impactful things, and not just a bunch of things here and there. Let me just say, the fireworks begin today. Each degree or diploma is a lighted match, and each one of you is the fuse. So let's get fired up and have a great year. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Miss Green. As she said, let's get fired up. With that being said, we have Professor Ibrahim Ajaguna, our Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moderator. This is said to be the class of 2025. And the theme of this event is forging ahead in unprecedented times. When I left this morning, I said to myself, every disappointment is a blessing from God. You could imagine if the volume of students are to make their ways to our main campus this morning under this type of weather. Professor Dorgan, who I believe will be joining with us in a few minutes, interim president. Dr. Tanisha Eglinton, vice president, administration and university registrar. My colleague, Vice President, in-house and listening online at this moment. Ms. Stephanie Green, our our President, Student Union. Our incoming students, the reason why we are here this morning, their parents, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I say good morning to you all. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here online with us today. We are very pleased to be able to join you this morning, marking the beginning of your educational career at the Caribbean Maritime University. This year we celebrate our 40th anniversary as a maritime institution, and notably, we acknowledge that we are the only international maritime organization's whitelisted maritime institution in the Caribbean. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously helped us to make this event a success. I will just mention only two: the Marketing and Communication Department, the Student Affairs Unit. You all know why we are here this morning. We are not here only to welcome you to CMU, but also to celebrate you. And to celebrate with you as you have moved from one phase of your life, from your high school to a tertiary institution. And you have been chosen, when you have chosen the CMU to continue this your important journey. This is glorious to us as it is to you. You have all been chosen to be a part of our university due to our mutual passion for one mission: to produce industry-ready leaders. Your passion for education helps us all to unite, and the energy we create is what allows us to achieve our individual as well as group goals, to bring you all together to begin a new journey. A journey that will last for the next 4 years. We need you as much as you need us, And that is why we are grateful to have you join us this morning. You are now part of the history of this 48th anniversary celebration. During the next few months, into the next 4 years, you will be learning about different initiatives through our planned activities, lectures, seminars, and special events, where you will be able to join in and get hands-on experience. The coronavirus, as indicated by our VP administration earlier on, has seriously separated us, and we pray that we will soon see an end to this pandemic. Some of us have lost family members and people that are very dear to us as a result of this virus. We cannot afford to give chances for the loss of more lives, and I encourage you all to get vaccinated, as we would like to have you with us here on campus for the next 4 years. I use this opportunity to charge you to give maximum support to the Students' Union body and its executive members, because they are the liaison between you and the university authority. I hope these 4 years will help you grow both personally and professionally. Finally, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. If you have questions, suggestions, clarification, and you just want to say hi, you can find me through my telephone numbers and my email address that will be provided with. Once again, I say a big thank you and congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Ibrahim. I hope we are feeling very welcomed. This brings me right back to my first day, my first orientation. And I'm telling you, the only difference is that you are maybe in your bed right now while I had to be seated. But without further ado, let me welcome Professor Evan Dugan, our university president.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, students. Good morning, everyone. It brings me great pleasure to welcome our new students to the Caribbean Maritime University at the start of the 2021 school year. You have enrolled at the CMU at the peak of the global COVID-19 pandemic, an unprecedented experience in the history of our school and country, and indeed the world. Like your predecessors, you can expect the unwavering commitment of our teachers and staff to put you at the center of all we do. What we're all about as servants of this university can be summed up in the words of the former United States President, Woodrow Wilson, who said, "We are not here to merely make a living. We're here to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, and with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. We're here to enrich the world, and we impoverish ourselves if we forget that very important errand." Each of us here today share the important commitment to make this a first-class university. We know that our world is one of accelerating change, even as much as we know that change will not always be for the better. As one of the nation's leading tertiary institutions, we are confident that the extent of our academic excellence will provide a rich environment for your intellectual stimulation, discovery, and learning, and very importantly, will amply prepare you to confront the future with confidence. The CMU's vision statement, Maritime University of Choice for Global Leaders, underscores our record of producing outstanding graduates through a process that involves career exploration, hands-on training, and professional preparation for your chosen career path. Here, you will develop lifelong friendships with fellow students who you meet in the classrooms, offices, clubs, and residences. You will also engage in stimulating rivalries, often on the playing fields or even in laboratories. University life is tough though. There are all sorts of pressures and often much to worry about. Money was often short, certainly in my time, and managing time can be tricky. I urge you to use the many resources available through scholarships and grants and advice from a variety of knowledgeable people. When you excel, there are so many who are willing to invest in you. So make sure the best of this opportunity, and seek help when it is necessary. As we come together to begin the new academic year, and hopefully face-to-face, well, no, today digitally, but hopefully face-to-face eventually, I encourage you to join forces and collaborate with students from other parishes and other lands. Despite our physical distance, we must remain in touch academically and socially, so that when you encounter difficult patches during your journey, as you certainly will, the CMU community, lecturers, staff, advisors, and resident fellows will stand ready to offer assistance. Today is a very special day for all of us, and I am delighted to be participating in this very, very important occasion. As I reflect on my long-time association with higher education, I have to remind you that there are several distractions that you will contend with, not the least of which is the intrusion of the COVID-19 endemic. But I feel confident that together we will successfully confront all the obstacles and anxieties that you are sure to encounter as you navigate these unprecedented waters. Let me acknowledge the hard work that you have already accomplished to get here and to make this day possible, and remind you that there are many hard days ahead that you have been extremely well prepared for. And I'm sure you will move forward with confidence. And quite importantly, the more effort you expend, the more assistance you will receive from your instructors and mentors. I encourage you to focus on the 4 Ps that we have sought to instill in all our students. 1, purpose, understanding the essential reason for your presence. 2, perspective, that will guide you in developing the attitude that helps to shape your motivation towards the accomplishment of your goals, and to adopt the right approach towards achievement. 3, productivity, the propensity to accomplish a high rate of output per unit of input, which will be a crucial element of your success. And finally, persistence, the determination to relentlessly pursue effective goals in order to attain desired objectives. You're at a wonderful place, and if you make use of all the opportunities available, you're going to have a wonderful life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dugan. I don't know about you, but I know I certainly feel welcomed, so I can only imagine how you as new students feel. Now, on to our exam and admission requirements, which will be facilitated by Janique Dennis, our examinations manager. Ms. Dennis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, students. Welcome to the Caribbean Maritime University. Thank you for making it your institution of choice. I am Janique Dennis, and I'm here today representing the registry. Our role at the university is to ensure that you have the best university experience. The registry is responsible for several services, which I will get right into. Okay, so the registry, we are responsible for application, acceptance, registration, progression, assessment, and certification. There are 5 units within the registry: admissions, student records, examination, scholarship and financial aid, and certification. Now, before I get into our presentation, I invite you to log on to our Caribbean Maritime University website at www.cmu.jm. And if you have already participated in our registration exercise, you would have received the credentials to log on to our CMU student registration system. On both platforms, there are a wealth of information. Now, let's take a look at admissions. Now, there are 4 steps to the admissions process. Step 1, application. Step 2, acceptance. Step 3, pre-registration. And step 4, registration. Now, you are required to complete all 4 steps. The admissions process is only finished when all 4 steps have been completed. Pre-registration. Now, for those of you who have been invited to participate in the registration exercise, you will be familiar with the pre-registration step. For those of you, though, who are pending your CXC results and are yet to be invited to participate in registration, you will experience step 3. Now, pre-registration, when you come in, you are required to confirm acceptance of the offer, verify your personal information on record. You will be issued with a CMU student address and password. Now, point to note here, students, your CMU email address is not a souvenir. You will be required to use it through the end of your student life here at CMU, and you are encouraged to use it with communications with your instructors and members of staff. Again, at pre-registration, you will be assigned to a specific group and stream. At the end of pre-registration, you will be issued a pre-registration receipt. At this step, no payment is required. However, this receipt will take you into step 4. Now, step 4 is registration. Now, registration here at CMU's refers to being fully financially cleared. It means you have met your financial obligations. Once you have registered, you will be issued a student authorization card, as you can see on the screen. Now, this card will give you access to identification card, courses and classrooms, access to library facilities and databases, access to health insurance, access to sporting teams, access to boarding if available, access to workshops and labs, and access to registry services. Now, our registry services refers to our transcript letters, embassy letters, etc. Now, speaking of registry services, let's take a look at student records. Now, what are your student records and how do you access these records? Now, by student records, we refer to our letters. Those are your status, embassy, funding, and completion letter. It also includes your transcript, whether it be a signed unofficial transcript or a official transcript. Student records also includes academic verification, such as your employee checks, and it also includes verification of enrollment, such as for work and travel, health insurance, and for financial institutions. Now, to request these documents, the university is proud to announce that we have recently launched our documentation request portal. You are required to log on to the portal to access any of your student records. Of course, you are required to be financially cleared. Now, let's take a look at examinations. Now, the examinations department is responsible for several services at the university. We issue course examinations. We have several types of examinations, rather, at the university, including end of semester, midterm, resit, and supplementals. And I'll explain what the resit and supplemental examinations are. Now, for students of the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics, Engineering, and General Studies, if you receive a failing grade between 40 and 49, you are required to resit the examination. Now, supplementals are for those students who missed an examination because of extenuating circumstances. Now, if you are a member of the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, some of your courses, the failing mark may be a 50 to a 59. And if you receive such grade, of course, you are required to resit the examination. A repeat are for those students who receive a failing grade between 0 and 39. And if you are a member of the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, then you would have earned between a 0 and 40 and 49. We also have special examinations and oral examinations. Now, during our online examinations, you are required to follow the rules and regulations as stipulated in your student handbook. These are the required examination materials for a face-to-face examination. You are required to have your valid student identification card as well as your examination card. Now, there is a security feature in our examination card, so it cannot be tampered with or duplicated. If you misplace your examination card, we encourage you to log on to your student registration system and reprint a card. Now, at the university, our degrees are typically 4 years in length. However, students have up to 7 years in which to complete a degree. The pass mark for faculties such as engineering and applied technology, for general studies and shipping and logistics are 50%. However, if you are a student of the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, as I mentioned before, the pass mark is 60. Grades are posted by our individual lecturers online using the student management system. However, students, you must be financially cleared to access your record. All courses contribute to the overall GPA average, including your mandatory industrial awareness, which is valued at 3 credits. Now, let's take a look at the exception registration process. What is exception registration and how do I go about applying for exception registration? Now, exception registration are for those students who fail the course and are required to do a resit or a repeat. It also includes students who missed an examination due to extenuating circumstances and so have qualified for a supplemental examination. So if you have to do a resit, if you have to do a repeat, if you have to do a supplemental examinations, then you are required to log on to the student registration portal. Now, the application is done by the applicant, and you must confirm fees as well, confirm sitting the examination, right? So step 1 to the end of the process must be done for you to be considered as fully registered for an exception course. Ensure that you click submit, otherwise your application will be stuck in draft and we don't want to have that. Now, I can imagine this is a wealth of information, so we will be having our examinations webinar in December 2021. Other services of the Examination Center include the processing of examination clashes. Now, if it is that you end up having more than one examination at the same time on the same time, that is considered a examination clash, and you are required to report it to the examination center. The examination center also processes grade queries, assistance with exam review and remark, as well as exam incident reporting. Now, let's take a look at scholarship and bursaries. The university manages several scholarships. We have the Caribbean Shipping Association Monica Silvera Scholarship, New Fortress Energy Scholarship, Kingston Freight Terminal Scholarship, and Embassy of People's Republic of China Scholarship. Now, the Monica Silvera Scholarship is valued at $2,500 US dollars, and the New Fortress Energy Scholarship is valued at $2,000 US dollars. The Embassy of the People's Republic of China Scholarship, they offer 5 scholarships of, valued at 200,000 Jamaican dollars. We also have other university awards, such as our Sports Award, Student Governance Award, Excellence in Co-Curricular Activities, example, Mr. and Mrs. CMU pageant. We have partnerships such as the I Believe Awards, issued by the Governor General, as well as Excellence in Community Involvement Awards. Now, let's take a look at our final step here at CMU, which is certification. This is where we want to see all of our students. This is where your parents want to see you at the final milestone. Now, for you to be qualified as an eligible candidate, you must have successfully completed all your taught modules, including your final project for your degree and diploma, and of course, you must satisfy the financial requirements. All right, now this takes us to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions after our question and answer segment, then please feel to email us at registry@cmu.edu.jm. If you are still pending your CXC results, we invite you to email us at apply@cmu.edu.jm. You can also give us a call at 876-618-7447. That is 876-618-7447. Our principal officers here at university is Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, who is the Vice President of Administration and University Registrar. We also have Ms. Keisha Walker, our Deputy Registrar, myself, Ms. Jenny Dennis, who is the Examinations Manager here at CMU, and Mr. Ricardo Marriott, our Senior Admissions Officer. Students, we want to see you succeed. Thank you for choosing the Caribbean Maritime University. Enjoy the rest of your orientation exercise.
Thank you so much, Miss Dennis. I must say she was thorough. She was thorough, and I hope you guys had a notepad at home and you're taking down notes and you're screenshotting these information, because you will need them to be successful during your tenure here. Sorry. So our next session will be done by our keynote speaker. Her name is Miss Christina Williams, and she is the president-elect at the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students, which is abbreviated as JUTS. So let me go ahead and give a brief introduction of Miss Williams. Christina Williams is a proud Portlander and graduate from the University of the West Indies with a multidisciplinary degree in international relations, policy, and Mandarin. She describes herself as a high-impact servant leader who has been championing since she was 9 years old, to include rural youth development through her parish council, and later as a member of Think and Thanks. She had led to nation intervention such as the Prime Minister's Hope Program, Adolescents Advisory Committee to hospitals, and the first non-traditional adolescents youth-friendly space in the Caribbean. She is currently established as a teen hub at the Transport Center in Kingston, Jamaica. Christina is the immediate past president of the Guild of the University of the West Indies, Mona. She is also the first woman president of Jamaica University of Tertiary Students in its 45-year history. External to local student leadership role, Christina is still helping to change the landscape of education through policy and programming as a member of the Ministry of Education's Center for Education Task Force, the National Council for Community College, the Technical Steering Committee on the Higher Education Policy, the Global Student Forum, which is the umbrella body for the world's largest students' federation. Her long-standing service to people and country has allowed her to be honored by the Governor General, Rotary International, as well as most recently, in March of this year, a global award for her work on COVID-19. She was also selected for the first ever cohort of the European Union Youth Sounding Board, a selection of over 4,000 applicants from 150 countries. Lastly, Christina lives by the mantra, there is nothing wrong with the world that cannot be fixed with what is right within the world. And her ambition is to translate her years of voluntary service into a career as a global lobbyist and humanitarian profession. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Miss Christina Williams.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I hope I'm being heard. May I have verification that I'm being heard?
Yes, you are being heard. You may proceed.
Thank you so much. It's a little unnerving to be sitting in my room and presenting in this very formal occasion. It is, but nonetheless, I am happy to be here. I am grateful to the CMU family for having me. And I really hope that throughout my presentation, there will be something, at least one particular thing that you'll be able to take away from the, I would like to say, conversation, and throughout the rest of the semester for you, you'll be able to apply it at least somewhere in your life. So having all the protocols observed, good morning, everyone. As said before, I am Christina Williams, president of the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students. And I was asked to speak to you about forging ahead. And it's a very timely topic, I believe, because when we think about the pandemic and we think about what it means to be a student within the context of the pandemic, I think all of us are trying to forge ahead. And as a student myself, pursuing law at the University of the West Indies, I know exactly what it takes to trying to balance my involvements as well as being a student and just having some form of a social life, however that may look like, considering the limitations that we may have. But with all my speeches that I do, I try to come down as close as possible and to talk to you as I would to my friend. Because I don't think I was invited here to give you some very technical presentation. If so, I'm sure they wouldn't have asked me to come as a person who would be considered as one of your peers. So I started off in Portland, Jamaica. I don't know if any one of you here have ever been to Portland. Hands down, the most beautiful parish in Jamaica, no arguments there. And I grew up on a farm, in a very small farming community, with just my father as breadwinner, mother and father, best friend, everything you can think of. Daddy was everything and more to me. And even though we were from a humble background, My father always said to me that there was no crime in being poor. What was important, however, was for me to develop this sense of social responsibility and social awareness. So even though my father isn't formally educated, and to some persons, you may say, how are you able to pull inspiration from an individual like that? My father was the first person who taught me the importance of service, giving of service to my country and my community. So I remember when I was younger, my father would have this rule that, I couldn't go to the neighbor's house, I couldn't go to any parties or any events or anything like that. But my father was one of those persons who, when I said I wanted to go on humanitarian missions, whether it was abroad or in Jamaica, my father was the first person to sign the form. And persons would be like, I don't understand. Your father don't want you to even go across the road to play with a friend, but he's fine with you taking a plane and going to Africa to present to the United Nations, which is something I actually did when I was around 15 years of age. And I was said yes, because, trying to balance being a traditional father while still believing in my goals and encouraging me to take on the world. But while I had these very big goals that I wanted to achieve, there was always this limitation placed upon me of my situation, of being in a low-income background, not seeing the first dollar to go to university. And so I remembered when it was time for me to go to UE, I said to my father, Daddy, what are we going to do? How are we going to forge ahead to take this next step into my life? And I remember Daddy saying to me, if it meant that we had to sell the little piece of land that we own, or a little farm that we relied on to have the food, literally as we ate every single day in the household, or what we had to sell at the market. We came to Coronation Market and sold at Coronation Market. For those of you here coming to Coronation Market, I would sell that piece of land so that you would be able to come to university, or you'd be able to go to university. As I said, Daddy, I'm not going to do that. Because aside from myself, there's also my brother. And I said to him, I am going to forge ahead, and I am going to go to university with faith. No, I'm not going to say to any of you here from my family from CMU that you should come to CMU with just faith. I would suggest to all of you to have some kind of financial plan, whether you're taking an SLB loan or some other loan, applying for scholarships, working as well. I would suggest to you to have a financial plan. But I'm going to admit to you that when I came here to UE, my first year in my first degree, I came here with just faith. And 2 bath pan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term bath pan, but I came with 2 bath pan, my 5 pound of flour, 5 pound of sugar, 5 pound of rice, my 3 mackerel, my 3 sardine. I remember what else I had there. I think maybe a box of cornflakes. And I moved in to my hall, Taylor Hall at the time, and I said, I'm forging ahead through faith. So I came to UE, and I realized really quickly that this was a space where I could bloom. And they always say, bloom where you're planted. And sometimes the soil around you, as you try to bloom, may not always appear to be the most ideal. So I was struggling with financial constraints on one side. I was struggling to balance because I was also working and involved in social impact work. And I was struggling to balance my job, being involved, and school. And I felt as if instead of forging ahead, I was falling behind. But I would say to you, for those of you here, have an external energy source. I am not sure what you believe in, and I won't say all of us here believe in God or all of us ascribe to religion. In fact, I'm not the most religious person, I'm actually more spiritual. But whatever it is that you pull your energy from, I would say to ensure that you identify it and you hold on to it. So I held on to my faith, which was what my grandmother, every day grandma would pray over me before. Every morning she would pray. I held on to that faith. I held on to the goal that I had, that I set out when I came to Kingston from Portland, that I would make a name for myself and to do better and be better as a citizen of Jamaica. And I held on to those 2 primary things. And so in 2018, the university said to me, Christina, we love you, you're doing incredible work, but you have too many fees outstanding. You have to go. simply means I'm about to be deregistered from the dream and goal that I had. Mind you, I'd already compromised one of the goals that I had because I came to UWI to do law initially and I couldn't afford it, and so I had to switch from law to a social sciences degree. So I'd already compromised one aspect of my goal, or dream rather, and now I was being asked that this entire dream, not even the social sciences degree I would get, they're going to pull me from school because I could not pay. Once again, instead of forging ahead, I'm falling behind. And I sat in my room one day and I said to myself, I owe it to my father's sacrifice and to myself and the woman that I want to be a few years from now to forge ahead and to ask someone for assistance. To all my CMU family here, I also wanted to, I didn't mention it because I would have mentioned all protocols was observed, but definitely to Stephanie Green and her team from the CMU Students Union. I know you in your own right you're forging ahead, but I wanted to especially highlight Stephanie. I know that during your election, you had to forge ahead. So I took that kind of similar passion in self and passion what I wanted to do and belief in self. And I went to the university's headquarters. And I said to the university headquarters, one of the persons I met there, I said, can I get assistance with my tuition? By the way, I wasn't asking them to fund me. I was asking them if they could recommend someone I could go to because I was going to be removed the following week. And I remember sitting there with the lady and I explained my story and what I've been doing at UA, what I've been doing nationally and all the work. But even though I've been doing all this work and involved in all these things and working so many jobs, I still could not make enough. And they listened to me and they gave me a letter. And they said to me, Christina, open the letter because we want to ensure that you're very aware of what we're putting in the letter, that everything is clear, you can ask any questions, and then you'll be able to move on and go to the person that recommended you to get assistance. I opened the letter, ready to read the instructions that were given to me, and they gave me a scholarship on the spot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I sat in my room and I didn't forge ahead and try my best to ask for assistance, there is no way I would have been given that scholarship, whether on the spot or otherwise. And so I was saved from deregistration. But after I went, I returned to my room and I sat in my room, there was a sense of, I could not process this scholarship on the grounds that there were other students who would not have been able to get this timely assistance as I did. I know persons might be saying, but Christina, you have stressed out yourself over your tuition and being kicked from school. Why are you going in your room and stress about other students? You need to be thinking about yourself and settle your head for school and mid-semesters and all of that. But I said at that point that I needed to make a covenant that I would do something to help at least one other student as I was assisted. And I struggled for a time in figuring out what that was. But eventually it came to me that I needed to run for guild president. Mind you, I did not come to you with any goal to run for guild president. I didn't have any ambitions for guild president at any point, even when I started UE. And I never looked at any of the presidents and be like, oh, someday I'm going to want to, take on this particular platform. But in that moment, I realized that I needed to forge ahead on behalf of other students. So I went and I ran, and it was one of the most difficult things in my entire life because I was not expected to win. I was not a forerunner. And person said that, Christina, you'd make a good leader because you believe in the youths and you'd boast the youths using their terminologies, but there's no way you can beat these other two individuals. But I forged ahead. I campaigned my hardest. I walked every single hall till my throat developed an infection because I talked so much. And at the end of the day, I won that election. And what did I do? I ensured that in my tenure, we achieved 99.9% reduction in deregistration for students because I said to myself, not one more student, while I am the student leader, will ever face that particular anxiety that I did when I was about to be removed from the university. I know all of you here have your own issues. It may not be tuition, or it may be. It may be situations at your household where you feel you're not being adequately supported by your family or your guardian. It may be an issue of feeling isolated because, you know, the pandemic and you can't interact with your friends. It may be a situation of personal health challenges, financial challenges, even if it's separate to school-related financial challenges. It could be anything. And you're probably saying to yourself, I'm just want to give up, because there's no way I can recover from this particular thing. I'm not going to say to you that the answer will be simple or that it will be easy for you to accomplish every single thing that you want. But I believe that all of us here as young people have the capacity within us, the capability to forge ahead, to be better than those who came before us. And we have a responsibility to both ourselves and to the self that we want to become later. So you heard in the introduction that I am now I'm an advisor to the European Union International Partnerships Commission out of 4,000 plus applicants from 150 countries. Currently, I speak on behalf of over 100 countries in terms of what we want the EU to do with these other countries that they work in that are external to the European Union. And when I applied for that role, it was never an application to say, oh, I am going to get this role. And there's no way, because, you know, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I must get it. There's nobody else would be as competent as I. It wasn't like that. It was a case of seeing the application, seeing it for months actually, thinking I wasn't enough, thinking there was no way that this little country girl from Portland, Jamaica, who didn't have any Ivy League quote, and I mean, I'm one of the best institutions in Jamaica, but didn't have any Ivy League behind her name, or didn't have any government who would have, because you had persons who were supported by their governments, like their prime minister, their president, sent up their names. I didn't have anything like that, that kind of support. It was just me applying individually on the basis of the work I would have done in my community and in my country. And so when I got the first interview, I was like, all right then, you know, pick color, right? Yeah, I'm gonna pass this stage. If this is all I have achieved, that is enough. Because I have been shortlisted out of how many thousands of people. And when they called me the second time, and after that, I talked, because you can probably realize that I do can be very verbose at times. And I don't talk. And then the lady said to me, Christina, you are one of our advisors. You are the sole person from the Caribbean. I was like, all right. And it took me weeks to process. I mean, even when Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith would have been officially informed, and she would have bigged me up on Twitter, and other ministers were bigging me up, and persons were sending me official commendations. You know, you're an official advisor now in the international relations and international law sectors. I still didn't process that. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That came because I forged ahead outside of my fear. A lot of us are, and I'm wrapping up, a lot of us are held back because of the fear that we allowed to feed on us and literally feed on our dreams. I'm going to repeat that. A lot of us, we don't achieve our best selves because we allow fear to feed on our dreams. And I'm not saying every single thing that you want to be. You probably want to be the next CMU Student Union president or some other executive member. You probably want to be the best engineer in maritime affairs, or the best logistics person, or the best customs person. And right now it seems almost impossible. It seems so far-fetched of an idea. But the question is, if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not willing to forge ahead for yourself and your dreams, who's going to forge ahead for you? You know me. And even though you have an incredible staff at CMU who are supporting you and providing all the resources that they can and the facilities, or the online or physical that they can, it still comes down to you and your decision to forge ahead because of the goals that you have. And how do we forge ahead in a very practical sense? Start off with research. A lot of times we limit ourselves as young people because we just don't know how much opportunities are out there for us. And I think if we just spend a little less time, on Daydream or on Twitter or on Netflix and just do a little research on the things that we want to accomplish, you may see the wide gamut of things that we could potentially aspire for. Jamaica may seem small, but the world is your oyster. So even if you don't find something that you want specifically in Jamaica, of course, I'm going to say, look in Jamaica first. But if you can't, look other places. I didn't know I'd go so far as to be in Belgium and be representing in Europe. I am just a Jamaican, I'm a Caribbean person. Of course, I'll probably be at the Caribbean level first. So do the research. After you have done that, apply yourself. It may mean you need to take additional certification, additional courses. You need to read, and not just the textbooks that we have for CMU, but also for other specialties that you may want to pursue or other interests that you may have, or just be socially aware. Read the news. I mean, you're doing maritime. There's so many things happening within the maritime space. I expect a person who's doing maritime to know about issues like the South China Sea, my apologies, issues as an example, right? So think about that. And then the next thing is ask for help. I know it's hard. People like me, it's hard for me to ask for help because, as soon as somebody make up them face 2 times and look at me like them don't want to, be facilitator, my job already in my shell. I don't want to try again or ask again. So I know what that's like. But ask for help because you never know who is out there ready and willing to give this one young person a bus. Literally a bus. And then after all of those things, I would say keep growing, keep learning, and be grateful. Lots of times we get so caught up in all the issues around us and the things that we want and we can't get that we are not grateful about what we have now. I saw this thing on Twitter says that we fail to realize that sometimes we're in the moment of the things that we once prayed for. So we're always thinking about what's the next thing that I want, that we fail to see that, guess what? A few years ago when I was in high school, I wanted to be at CMU. I wanted to be one of those students who, according to the statistics, after you graduate, you're 95% likely to get a job right after graduation, much higher than UWI and other institutions. That was your dream. Know that you're at CMU. Yes, you have registration issues, right? You're probably not seeing your courses that you want shown on the platform, or you're not seeing the exams on time. Yes, those are legitimate issues. And I will tell CMU very boldly and honestly here that as JUTS president, it is my responsibility to work with Stephanie and her team to ensure that the students are getting the best quality service possible. And there may be times we'll be on the other side of the coin because, student leader and administration. But students, I'm saying to you, that while there may be challenges, still be grateful and gracious to be able to say, the administration is doing this particular thing for me, I am grateful for this. My name is Christina Williams.s on Instagram. As a student, you have the right to reach out to me at any time about anything because I represent you as the president of Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students. I'm excited to work with Stephanie and her team. I just can't stop bigging up Stephanie because I remember when I met Stephanie originally, Stephanie was the PRO, and just to see how she has grown and blossomed in this really effective advocate, and she's just passionate about students and young people overall is incredible to see. To see how she and her team is forging ahead. I expect to hear greatness from CMU as usual, but individually I expect to hear greatness from you as students. And I'm not saying this because it sounds nice. I'm saying it because you have the responsibility to yourself and to your country to be great. Continue to forge ahead. I look forward to all the incredible things you will accomplish. Thank you for listening.
And thank you so much, Christina. That was, let me say, very entertaining, especially the 3 mackerel and the 2 bad pan. That was it for me. And I must say it's very motivational, and I believe we can all take something from this speech because It is somewhat close to home for us as university students, and we hope that we will forge forward even when we are experiencing difficulties, that we never give up and we just continue to thrive, or even surround ourselves with people who will continue to motivate us. With that being said, let us move on into our educational sessions. We will have Miss Stacy and Jack, our sports coordinator of accounts and finance matters, and she will be presenting with our educational session. I'm so sorry about that. Miss Jack, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and more so, good morning to our beloved new students. Welcome to the 2021 orientation session. We are elated that you have chosen the CMU for your choice of studies. When you hear the word student affairs, what comes to mind? Student-related matters, where we seek to support and assist our students at all costs. The Office of Student Affairs can be summed up in 3 sentences: the roles and responsibilities. 1, to foster a good relationship between students, faculty, and administration. 2, to promote student success. And 3, to promote growth and development amongst all our students. The Office of Student Affairs consists of 11 units: placement, discipline, housing, clubs and societies, welfare, sports, counseling and chaplaincy, international student relations, alumni relations, and the creative arts. What is the placement unit all about? This is where students are given the opportunity to register for an industry awareness program, which helps students to be placed to do their internship or their work experience with various industry partners. Some of these partners are Nestle, the Jamaica Public Service, Toyota Jamaica, Customs and Immigration, and several other companies. This 3-credit course is a crucial feature of the academic requirement for graduation. The Industry Awareness Program prepares students for a full-time employment after graduation. The placement unit also is in charge of the career fair. This year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we're not able to host a face-to-face career fair, so we held it virtually. It was a success. Through this career fair, students are given the opportunity to be interviewed by several industry partners, and sometimes they gain employment at the career fair, or they may be thought about for future employment within that company. The discipline unit plays an integral role within the Office of Student Affairs and also the CMU Life. 1, we ensures proper deportment of all students, including proper monitoring of online classes. So even though we're having online classes, we implore all our students to maintain discipline on the online platform. 2, ensure student adherence to university's code of conduct. We implore students, even on the online platform, to dress appropriate for classes. Be properly attired. It is very important. 3, investigates and adjudicates student disciplinary matters and other complaints and grievances. 4, we assist students transition into the university to make it worthwhile and fun. And finally, to assist with safety and security of our students. Your safety and security is our main priority. Housing. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the housing accommodations are closed for the academic year 2021-2022. The housing is located at the Port Royal Admiralty House. The dorm wardens are also located there, and they liaise with the housing coordinators for any related issues that our students might encounter with. Normally, the housing would accommodate 160 students. Clubs and societies. This is a very interesting aspect of student life. One, it is designed to meet the varying needs of the student body. Two, clubs are guided by faculty advisors. They set their own governing bodies, and they meet on a weekly basis. Also, they host events and engage in outreach activities. Some of these clubs include Rotaract, environmental clubs, MOVA, which is recently created, the Men of Vision Action Club, very interesting. And I'm proud of the young men who came up with this idea. We also have the Debating Club, and newly we're inventing the Electronic Sports Club. Because of we're now in the technology, we're doing more technology. We are now going online, so we'll now have our electronic club. Welfare. This is also an interesting and important part of university life. Within the welfare unit, we deal with health insurance, earn and learn program. You're able to be at school, do classes, and also work here at the university. And I'm pretty sure you have, some of you have made aware of that during registration process. We also have the Special Assistant Lunch Program and the PATH Tertiary Bursary Program, which you have also been informed during the registration process about. We encourage our students to apply to these programs early during the application period, which is first semester, October 2021, and second semester, February 2022. As I said before, the welfare is a very important aspect of the university and also within the Office of Student Affairs. The PATH Tertiary Bursary, this is offered through the Ministry of Labor, and Social Security. Eligible applicants must be a PATH beneficiary from high school. Once you're eligible, the Ministry of Labor will assist each student with $100,000 towards their tuition fee. Application forms are available online or at the Student Office of Student Affairs. So if you're not able to come on campus, if you go online and get the PATH form, what you can do is complete the form, scan it, and email it to us at the Office of Student Affairs. We employ that all application forms along with applicants' progress report should be returned, completed, and returned to the Office of Student Affairs for processing. Sports. The Office of Student Affairs consists, within the sports unit, we have 11 sporting disciplines. These include cheerleading, fencing, rowing, football, basketball, netball, volleyball, hockey, rugby, track and field, and swimming. We have been very successful over the past 2 to 3 years in our sporting disciplines. We're 6-time intercollegiate cheerleading champions. We have won titles in football, 2 times intercollegiate champions in football. Our hockey team has also won the 2018 Intercollegiate Hockey Championship. And our track and field program is currently revamping. One may ask, what are we doing during a pandemic for sports? So we have the sports units have created online virtual sporting activities. Students will be engaged virtually through sport webinars, sports quiz competitions, fitness tests, skill-based presentations, and electronic games competitions. What is the procedure to register for these sports? 1, you must complete an online registration form. 2, you will be assigned to a group for each activity. 3, a schedule of activity will be sent out to all students a week before the start date. And finally, to make it interesting and interactive, we'll be awarding points to each student. The counseling unit, very important within the Office of Student Affairs. This is a confidential area with student matters. We help students to maintain good mental, social, and emotional and spiritual well-being. Both individual and group counseling sessions are offered. All sessions held virtually or by telephone, and you must make an appointment to be seen by the counselor. The international student relations, also an important aspect of the university and the Office of Student Affairs, where students from other Caribbean countries are given the opportunity to complete their studies here at the CMU. What do we do at the International Student Relations Unit? One, we provide support to our diverse international student population, aids with immigration processes, appoints international student ambassadors, and assists with transition to the university life in a foreign country to make it more interesting and worthwhile for the students. The alumni relations, also an important aspect of the university. If you have completed your studies here, we don't turn your back on us. Remember us. We collaborate with your past institution. You can give back something to create a strong link between the university and its graduates. The creative arts, also an interesting aspect of this Office of Student Affairs. If you're artistically inclined, we ask you to be a part of this unit. We seek to engage students who are artistically and creatively inclined. Students are given the opportunity to creatively express themselves locally at the CMU on a national level in competitions held by the Jamaica Cultural Development Commissions, Talawa, and several others. Students are engaged in creative expressions such as visual arts, literary arts, and the performing arts. So we ask if you're good at playing the piano, the drum, the guitar, this is where you want to be, students. Very interactive and fun. The Students' Union. This is a democratic-led organization that seeks to represent, support, and enhance the lives of its members. So through this Students' Union liaise with the Office of Student Affairs, the directors of Office of Student Affairs, to get approval for any activities that will be held within or external to the university. Student Affairs provides advice and guidance to the union. The virtual office, also an interesting idea that was developed within our office. This is a virtual space that students who are not able to come on campus due to the restrictions of due to the pandemic and the restrictions. You can stay from the comfort of your home and log in on our virtual office. The Office of Student Affairs has created an online office space for your convenience. The virtual office operates between the hours of 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Mondays through to Thursdays weekly. The link to access the office is available on the CMU Instagram page. Regular reminders are sent to the students' email from the CMU Marketing Division. Thank you, students, and this is the end of my presentation. Welcome, and I'm wishing you a productive school year. For more information, you may contact us at studentaffairs@cmu.edu.jm, or you can call us at the number provided. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Stacey and Jack. Guys, I hope you were paying keen attention, How many units are in the Students Affairs Department? You know it's 11? I didn't think so, So moving right along to accounts and finance matters. Our next facilitator is Mrs. Misha Sutherland Brown, our manager for billings and receivables. Over to you, Miss Sutherland.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, new students of the Caribbean Maritime University. I would like to welcome you from the Office of the Treasury, and we hope that your time at CMU will be rewarding and fulfilling. The Treasury Unit of the CMU, the arm of the Billings and Receivables, is responsible to liaise with students as it relates to financial matters. Okay. Our registration criteria speaks to students getting financial clearance. And for a student to be registered, they are required to meet certain financial obligations. So to be a registered student at the CMU, one must be pre-registered for his or her respective program, and student must be financially cleared. Financial clearance allows a student access to resources for his or her program, whether online or face-to-face, and allows students to write examinations and hand in coursework. If financial clearance is not given, the account is on draft. This means that you are not a registered student if you look on your student status and see draft. Okay. I explained what a draft was before. If you're on account hold, that means that a student does not have access to any of the Caribbean Maritime University's resources. If you're conditionally cleared, this means that you have made some sort of arrangement with us and we have allowed you to join the classes. On conditional clearance, you are not allowed to get certain documentation, so it's best for you if you get your status to a full financial clearance, which would mean that you have met the requirements for the semester or for the full academic year. Throughout the academic year, status on your account will shift depending on whether your payments are made as required or adequate arrangements made with your sponsor. Access to resources can be denied if payments arrangements are not made as required. Just to know, there are no monthly repayment plans. The Student Loan Bureau offers this kind of service where if you're a working student, you're able to do their pay as your study program, or your parents can apply to the Student Loan Bureau for that program. You can visit the student loan website to get further information on this. To be financially cleared for 2021-2022, appropriate arrangements need to be made for the settlement of fees. This means tuitions and auxiliary fees in respect of the new year. All students get a temporary clearance upon pre-registration. This will only allow you to go to your classes, and this means also that you are not a registered student. Because as I've said before, to be a registered student, you have to be either on conditional clearance or you have to be on full financial clearance. We allow you some time up to November 19th to make payments for you to become a full registered student. It must be appreciated that some time is needed for us to update your payment, because sometimes you make payments at the bank and we are not able to identify what the payment is. Sometimes we don't get the information until like about 2 to 3 days, depending on if you're making a payment from another bank other than our bank, which is NCB. It may take up to 2 to 3 business days. So when we get it 2 to 3 business days, we ask that you allow for us to do the update of your account within another 2 days. To assist students and parents, we allow students to pay a 40% of the tuition plus the full auxiliary fees for you to get full clearance for the first term. For the second semester, you're asked to pay 35%. This payment must be made before the commencement of semester 2, and at 25% you pay before your exam starts in semester 2. If you are a part-time student, this applies to you as well. Students of the SLB. If you're an SLB recipient for the first term, we allow statuses from A to E, and the full auxiliary fees must be cleared. You are required to follow up with student loan to ensure that your status changes, because by semester 2, we'll be only accepting a registration status of D and E from the student loan. So A, B, and C will not be accepted for registration of semester 2. For persons who are getting scholarships or grants from Ministry of Education or your parents' company or whichever other scholarship sponsor that you have applied to, you must ensure that full auxiliary fees are paid if the scholarship does not cover for this. Some scholarships does not cover for auxiliary fees, so you have to ensure that you check with the scholarship sponsors to see what they cover and how much they cover. You need to ensure that what they cover will clear you for the entire semester one, so you have to pay attention to what the scholarship says. When you get these scholarships, when you're accepted for a scholarship award, you need to send a copy of that letter to the registry department, and you also need to send one to the treasury department so that we can update your account and we can facilitate clearances. Okay, our preferred payment methods, if you look on our website, you will see different payment modes. But our preferred payment methods are at the Paymaster. When you pay at Paymaster, your account is updated within 1 business day. So we encourage students to go to Paymaster to make the payments because your account is it's almost automatic. If you choose not to pay at Paymaster, we ask that you come to our cashiers and you can make your payments. We'll accept manager's check, credit, debit card. We ask that you do not take personal checks here because we have had instances where these checks are bounced. So we ask that you do not take a personal check. It must be a verified check. A verified check can be a company check. It can be a manager's check. No personal checks. We're having some challenges with some of the payment modes that we advertise on our website. The National Commercial Bank, currently we're having issues with them because sometimes you'll make a payment from other banks or you'll make an online payment. What we're noticing is that there's a lack of information that is being posted on the bank statement. We don't know who makes the payments. When we call the bank, we don't get as much support from them to resolve the situation that we're having. Hence why we say to you, go to Paymaster, come to CMU. Another issue that we're having is that persons are paying at the ATM. When you pay at the ATM, all it says on the statement is ATM. We don't know who ATM is. So all we're saying to you, do not use the ATM. There's nowhere for us to trace who makes the payment. It does not show your name. It does not show your parents' name. The bank itself is not able to say to us who makes the payment. So we say to you, do not use the ATM. Do not use the kiosk. All right. Payment through other financial institutions, as I have mentioned before, it poses a challenge as well. You may think that you put enough information when you're applying online, but when the transaction is reflecting in our statement, it does not show who the payment is for. So sometimes it takes months. If you don't send in your document, we don't know who makes the payment. And then we have to go through a verification process. It causes a delay in updating your account. And we don't want to get our students frustrated. So we tell you before, the best payment method is through Paymaster and by coming to CMU directly. When you pay at CMU, your account is updated at the end of the day. When you pay at Paymaster, your account is updated the next day. Okay. For general information, you can visit our website as stated in the presentation. We also would like to let you know that as soon as you become a registered student, you'll have access to the SRS. You're able to go on our system to see what your statement looks like. We ask that you assist us to help you to ensure that your statement is correct. Some of our processes are manual, and we ask that you assist us to ensure that we give you the right information. So if you have any queries as it relates to your statements, we ask that you either visit the compound or you can send an email to accounts@cmu.edu.jm. Leave of absence form, if you choose not to continue with CMU, which I really do hope you continue, you need to fill out that form and go through the proper approval process, which is faculty to registry, then to us for us to amend your account. We are having challenges handling some of our calls and some of our emails. We're not going to say that we're perfect in this case, but we ask where possible that you visit the CMU. You'll be better served face-to-face if you can. We're also encouraging students to go out there and search for the scholarships. They are there. Ministry of Education offers scholarships to engineering students. And they offer scholarship that cover your entire tuition. It covers your auxiliary fee. They give you a book grant. They give you a maintenance grant. So go out there and search for these scholarships. It will make your life so much easier financially. So we encourage you to look for the scholarships. When you're on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, just think and say, okay, my school fee is supposed to be paid. Let me check to see if there are any scholarships out there. I encourage you to use social media for your benefit. There are some contacts here on our presentation. You can write them down. If you don't see them after I'm finished, you can send messages in the chat. Someone will respond to you for the different queries that you may have. You have Taisha Black, who will deal with the scholarships and the grants. You have Chantal Ramcharan, who will look at our funds and the fees paid by Paymaster. You have Kevin Panton, who looks at the SLB, international scholarships and grants. And you have Aldith Williams, who looks on repeats and resits. And I'm always available to speak to any student for any queries that they have. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I do hope you have a wonderful time at CMU. Have fun while you're at it, study hard, and come out strong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Brown. Now, she was thorough, and I hope you were paying attention to all things monetary related, because I'm always eager to know where my money is going and to ensure that I'm getting the best service with what I'm paying for. With that being said, let's jump right into our library services. And Novelet Bishop, our deputy librarian, and she'll be here to speak about library, the use of the library and the various services offered. Ms. Bishop, when you're ready.
Good morning. Thank you. Guten Morgen. Buenos dias. Good morning. And honodo. Students, again, good morning. On behalf of the library staff, I wish you a very warm welcome to this noble university. It's not very warm today. If you are in Kingston, we're having some nice showers of blessings, but we give God thanks for the showers of blessings. And as stated, I am Navlet Andrea Bishop, Deputy University Librarian. I know that most, if not all of you, online have used a library before, whether from your primary school, your high school, or even the public library. And you will know what a library is. You will know the reason for going to the library. You will go there to get information for your research and for other purposes. And of course, at the library, you can also borrow books. And what is a library without books? The CMU Library strengthens and enhances the teaching, research, and service of the university. It promotes intellectual growth and creativity by developing our collections, and we facilitate access to the information resources, and we also offer research assistance. But the main purpose of the library is to meet your informational needs. And in so doing, the library management ensures that there are sufficient printed and electronic resources to satisfy your informational needs. Of course, we are aware that you are attending classes and will be attending classes online, and you may not get the opportunity to visit the physical libraries at both main and western campuses. But we, the library management, will ensure that you have access to adequate e-resources. And of course, I will elaborate on these e-resources later on in my presentation. The library's collection. The collection is multidisciplinary and consists of books and other resources. Again, what is a library without books, whether e-books or printed books? And we have books in all the courses you will be doing in the various programs. We also have access to research paper that past students have written, and you will be writing your research paper in your fourth year. These are also kept in the library. You will have access to periodicals. What are these? Journals, magazines, newsletters, and of course, most of these will be given to you. You will access electronically. And of course, you have access to CD-ROMs, because we have CD-ROMs that came in books, some we have purchased, and DVDs as well. Then we have access to e-resources, and these are databases that I will be expounding on later in the presentation. And also, we have access to past examination papers. These will be sent to you electronically on your request. But you have to tell us the courses that you want these papers on and the programs that you are in. Well, before you can borrow any books or other materials from the library, you must be registered as a library user. During the registration sessions you attended, most of you would have visited the library's desk and completed a membership form. This information on the form was and is being uploaded in our library's integrated system and will be used when you come in to borrow books. I implore those of you who have not done so to visit the library circulation desk with your registration documents and complete the process. Now you have completed the process. You are now legitimate library users. How do you borrow material from the library? What we have books that you can borrow for 3 weeks. And these must be returned at the end of the 3 weeks period, because the date will be stamped in the book, so you will remember. We also have books on overnight loan. And because of the timing now, we used to be open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., but now we are living in some unusual times. The library, the opening hours is up to 4:15, but I will give you more information on that. So when you borrow your overnight loan, you can take it in any time throughout the day. But when you borrow on a Friday, you return on a Monday. And we have books in the library that cannot be taken out. These are non-circulating books. They must be used in the library, or you can photocopy these books. And guess what, students? If you return the book them late, guess what? We're going to charge you a little money. And that money for the open access, those are for 3 weeks, you're going to be paying $40 per day. And for overnight, it's $150 per day. Guess what happened? We want the money, but the money is the important thing. The important thing is that when you borrow the books, you return it so others can get to borrow. The library books, it works on a revolving system. You borrow, return, another person's borrow, return. So in libraries, we share, we care for each other. The research papers I told you about, these again cannot be borrowed from the library. They cannot be photocopied neither. No library you go to can you do that. On campus, UWI Mono, we wrote and wrote and wrote with our hands what we could. So the same thing here. And guess what happened? If you lose the book, and if you damage the books them that you will borrow, you will have to pay for them. Amen? So let it be? All right. And we will tell you the cost of that. Also, if you do not pay the money owing at the end of the month, we will contact you to say that you have books, remind you have books owing, and if you still don't pay, whether books owing or books lost, your names will be sent to the Treasury Department and your accounts will be debited. We still love you, but we just want you to bring back the book them if you come to borrow the books them. Okay, because we are in some unusual times now, and we have to abide by the government guidelines, we will be asking you to complete a library visitation form that when you complete that form, we will inform you. You can tell us when you want to come to the library. And the day or days you'll be coming, we have a number of students there. We will tell you the preferred dates. So, but for now, until that form is available, by the next 2 weeks, you can just email us or you can call us and we will tell you when to come in. We also offered you services. Again, some of you are not on campus. This is for the main student, those on the main campus students, and for Western campus students that you will be using the Sam Sharp Teachers College. We have photocopying facilities at these 2 locations. At the main campus, our photocopier machine is a card-operated machine, and you purchase the card from us in the library from $200 upward. Do not lose your card. When your money is completed, you can also come back to us and top up that card. And at the Sam Sharp Teachers College Library, I think you pay cash. And of course, our photocopying and Sam Sharp is in tandem with JAM copy guidelines. We also offer printing service, and again at a cost, but at the CMU Library, you send your information for printing to the CMU Library 123@gmail.com. Don't you write on anything now, because you'll be getting information from me as I've completed this presentation with everything in it, because I already did a document and everything is in it. But you'll be gonna send your printing information to that email and then will reprint for you at a cost. And the Western campus, as I said before, the Sam Sharp Teachers College Library, and you pay for your printing. You also have access to computers at the main campus and Sam Sharp Teachers College. And when you come to use the library, you log your name and you go on and use your computers. If there are no one there to use it after you to use the computers, you can stay the whole day. And guess what, students? We also have laptops on loan. And you have to complete a form on your SRS to borrow these laptops. And when you complete the form, we will respond to you, and you tell us when you are coming, and you come and pick up your laptop. But the laptop loans for 1 month. And if no one else, if there are other persons, no one else need laptop, you can renew, you can reapply and get it for another month. So you see, we have services for you as well, although we are not seeing you face to face. And I am not too sure the Sam Sharp Teachers College have laptop loan, but I can find that out, and you can as well. Our service hours are, for now, until changes are made, Monday to Friday, 8:15 a.m. to 4:15 p.m., and we are now closed Saturday and Sunday. Again, changes will be made if the government, if the government announces changes, we will make the changes to our service hours. And at the Western campus, the service hours are Monday to Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., on Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., on Saturday they are closed for now. And the contact information, again, I will give you all of that in the document. And we also have e-resources for you to use. And as academians, you need to use these online resources. And these include the online databases and EBSCO, Emerald. These are multidisciplinary databases. And what that means, they consist of information on all the courses you are doing. We also have specialized databases, and these are the Lloyd's list. The Lloyd's list and the Rex for Ship databases. You will get more information on these databases in the document that I will be sending to you. We also have a Caribbean database that was given to us by the Ministry of Education. We also have a legal database that includes all the laws of Jamaica, Constitution, jokes, directory of law firms. And guess what, students? We also have a robust ebook collection that we are subscribing to, and we at CMU have purchased a number of books, over 200 titles. I just made selection for 31 titles, and these are in mostly logistics, supply chain management, engineering, security. So please utilize this robust collection. And there are also links to some free ebook sites as well. And we also have links to some credible websites. Here, what I repeated that, because I know you all are Google babies, and everything you love to go on Google, but remember, Google is good and bad. Not everything on Google is correct. You have to evaluate the information that you retrieve from Google. Okay, and I will give you the evaluation criteria to do that. We also have our library social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and we upload information to those periodically every month, and very good information is on it, and I need you to give your comments and to utilize these e-resources. Remember, you're in the 4th Industrial Revolution, you are tech babies, utilize the e-resources. Guess what, students? We also have a software named Turnitin Plagiarism Software, and this is to prevent you from copying, thieving people material. You need to write the things and put in your own words, paraphrase, and you cite your sources. And your work will be run through this software. And it shows you the similarity. If it's above at CMU, we have that policy on that. That is, I think, in the student handbook. And you will read that and see what it's all about. But you get more information on that from myself and your lecturers. You also have indices to research papers that you will use, and abstract to these research papers as well. And APA, it is the academic standard used by this institution. We are now using the latest, the 7th edition. I have done 3 sets of PowerPoints. I will send that to you on how to cite your sources using APA, how to write your references, and how to also format your paper. And this will be sent to you shortly. And students, I wish all of you a successful academic year. Please be reminded to utilize the library's resources and to contact the library staff for assistance when needed. Also, remember to trust in the Word of God and to apply the Word of God to your lives. Remember, with God in your ship, you'll be able to sail through turbulent times that will come during your studies, your four years here, and life in general. I declare and decree God's blessings on you, and may his peace rest and remain with you for the rest of 2021. Amen. So let it be. Thank you.
Amen. I know she didn't get the pun, but I got the pun when she says God is sailing with you, being that we are doing shipping and logistics. You guys get it? All right. So in continuing on to... I am so sorry about that. So, on to a very important topic that I believe all students are supposed to be very attentive for. We have occupational health and safety matters. First, we have our facilitator, Alan Suppleton. He is the manager of occupational health and safety, and he will be speaking on the topic. And like I said, guys, it's very important that you pay keen attention to health and safety. I know we're not on campus, but we are in these very precedented times where where health and safety is keen and important. And let me tell you that after Mr. Stapleton's presentation, we have Nurse Kiwana Porter White. She is our senior nurse. And I know you guys are new and you haven't been on campus, but she is very helpful and she ensures that she gets to the root of any problem you'll be having so long as you visit the nurse's office. Mr. Stapleton, whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. Good morning, students. I would like to join everyone else in welcoming you to the Caribbean Maritime University. You have made an excellent choice. I'll give you a brief overview of occupational safety and health in the context of your study here at the CMU. So let's get right into it. What does occupational safety and health means? Basically, it relates to your health, safety, and welfare issues within the workspace or within the occupational space. In our specific case, we're talking about the university space. So it means acquiring your education here at CMU without experiencing any major accidents, any serious injuries or ill health, which can stymie your progress and your expectation. As one wise person succinctly puts it, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, art cannot manifest, strength cannot fight, wealth become useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. So, maintaining a good physical, mental, and emotional well-being is essential for your success, both academic and in the world. So, what is involved in safety and health, occupational safety and health? Of course, there are laws, standards, and programs that are designed to make the work or occupational space better or safer for staff, or students, and other stakeholders that will come into university. So there are many types of hazards that we have to address within the occupational space. For example, chemical hazards. You breathe a lot of dust and gases and fumes and smoke. It's about 80% of your exposure within any occupational space. There are physical hazards, the falls and slips, the cuts, the bruises, going to heights, using stairs, noise, radiation, all of these things. And biological agents. A very good example now is COVID-19, which has prevented you from even coming into this occupational space. And when you come, or for those of us who are here, we have to take a temperature, we have to wear a mask, we have to be physically distanced to about 6 feet, and we have to sanitize quite often. And I know you have to do this within and around the home environment as well. So there may be psychological fallout from this activity and from other activities, coping with the workload and so on. But we have heard generally within the population and internationally psychological problems. We urge you to link, forge link with other students, friends, family, so that you can stand firm while getting your education. Ergonomic issues, this has to do with your comfort in the occupational space. When you come here to CMU, we have for you very good desks and chairs. We project onto big screens, and you're comfortable. I know that at home, some of you might be lying in bed to try to get your lesson. But we urge you to get a comfortable space where you can look straight ahead, having good visual acuity, not bending the neck on the back for more than 15 degrees. These can present problems. So we urge you to work with the family to create a mental and physically ideal study era, which is critical for academic performance. I'm sure this will redound to your benefit. You'll have less physical problems, so you'll have a lower risk of back and neck pain and eye pain and all that. And I'm sure it will also up your productivity and your quality, in that you'll be able to stay focused for much longer. Your work output will be quicker and with fewer errors. And when you speak of accidents, it's kind of like the poster boy for safety and health, but actually it shouldn't be so. Here at CMU, we try our best to lessen and avoid situations that could bring you into accidents. We urge you to do the same while you're at home. And when you get on the road to commute, please be very discerning. Make good choices, good decisions. We know there are some drivers out there, there are accidents waiting to happen. We don't want to have this. We're very sorry when this happens. So do your best to avoid accidents. And of course, at CMU here, we have many policies, standards, and programs to help you. There are some basic rules for you to follow while you're on campus. For example, you have to respond to emergency if there's an emergency. And when you come here, you'll get the drill, and a pun is intended here. So we put out many posters and signs and so on with things that we want you to do, call them safety instruction, and also things that we don't want you to do, like going up on the third story and sitting on the guardrail. That's really a no-no. Also, within your specific disciplines, there will be hazards. So whether you're in engineering or in marine or in shipping, please follow the instruction there so that you don't get hurt while you are having your training. So I want to wish you a safe and healthy sojourn here at the CMU. If you follow these safety tips, I can guarantee you you'll leave here in 2025 with your degrees, honors degrees even, and while you're at it, just be a champion for occupational health and safety. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Up next, Nurse Juana Porter-White.
Good morning, class of 2025. Welcome, welcome to the CMU. You have chosen the right school, at the right time, and you're in the right hands. Amen? So, occupational health and wellness is an arm of the Occupational Health and Safety unit. And to man this unit, myself, Kiwana Porter-White, and Nurse Dan mans the unit, and along with an EMT, Mr. Leslie Aaron, who is not here at this time. We offer basic services. We offer basic first aid, medical first aid, patient assessments, treatments and referrals, health education and counseling, promotion of healthy lifestyles, fitness and nutrition, and stress management. Now, throughout the course of the year, we have an annual calendar that deals with a number of health and wellness programs, and these will be posted to you as we progress throughout the academic year. For this month, for example, we are in the month of October, and October is highlighted as Oral Health Awareness Month and Breast Health Awareness Month. So we do encourage you to do your self-breast examinations. Very, very, very important. While you're in the shower, ladies, you do your self-breast examination. This will determine if it is that you have any masses, any lumps, stuff like that, that you can highlight to your doctor and have it checked out. Yes? And also on the oral health. And I mean, this is overstated, but nevertheless, let me say it. Twice yearly visits to your dentist. Very, very important. And of course, brushing at least twice per day and flossing, critical. All right? And of course, you will be furnished with health cards, so you ensure that you utilize these cards and have your health checks done. All right? So, of course, COVID-19 is here with us, and it seems as if it's going to be here a good while with us. So we just continue to encourage you to maintain the COVID-19 safety protocols wherever you go. And these include, and you know them already, so we're just going through, your frequent hand washing, your sanitizing, you maintain your 6 feet apart social distancing, avoiding crowded areas, avoid being around persons who are unwell, and of course, constantly monitoring yourself. If it is that you observe any flu-like illnesses, any runny nose, stuffiness, fever, that sort of a thing, ensure you do not hesitate to call your doctor and be guided. For persons who suffer from chronic illnesses, that is epilepsy, this is of course an example, fits, which is fits, migraine, headache, hypertension, diabetes, stomach issues, stuff like that. Do not hesitate to to visit your doctor. Do not neglect your health checks, because what is happening is that because it's all about the COVID now, and the healthcare centers are packed up with persons with COVID, but keep close to your doctor and just maintain your appointments, because if it is that these are not maintained, then you're going to have another complicated situation going on there. So keep your scheduled appointments, and of course, take your medications as prescribed. All right. Now, I'm going to just pause a little bit just to encourage you, students, to take care of yourself, because you're going to have, what, a 4-year journey ahead? And if it is that you don't exercise good self-care, you will not end the journey, the way you want to, right? In a successful way. So I just want to pause to encourage you to take care of yourself, because we know that school life is challenging, don't it? Yes? And then, of course, coupled with COVID-19. High school itself is a challenge, no university, and university in a pandemic. It is challenging. The remote learning, the stay-at-home orders, the other COVID-19 protocols, students can become stressed. All right? So self-care is critical, young people, for the maintenance of good mental, physical, spiritual health. All right? Very, very important. You will feel stressed, but you just have to constantly tell yourself that I am an overcomer. Right? I am an overcomer. Tell yourself that. Okay? So I just want to just take a minute or two just to quickly go over with you some self-care tips. So you can ask, if you ask yourself the question, what strategies can I employ as a student to overcome and be successful in all my endeavors? Right? Ask yourself that question. What can I employ? What can I do to overcome? How will I take care of myself in university during these unprecedented times of COVID-19? Right, so basically, self-care tips I want to share with you this morning. And you will at times have periods of sadness, anger, frustration, anxiety. Some are all of the above. And no, students, it is okay to feel how you're feeling. Remember, we are just humans. We are mere humans, and we will get stressed at times, right? So just know that it's okay to feel the way you are feeling. But how you manage it now is where we're going, right? So I just want to implore you, I just want to encourage you, share how you are feeling, yes? Share how you are feeling with a trusted friend, with a counselor, church leader, community leader, your parents, your significant others, but you have to communicate how it is that you're feeling. Don't keep anything bottled inside, okay? Right? However, if you find yourself not operating, guys, at, you're not your normal self, right? You just feel like you're not functioning optimally, do seek professional help, okay? We have our counselor here, okay, and you can speak with her, of course, and necessary referrals, can be made if it is that you seek external assistance, okay? Now to continue, connect with others. It's very important that you establish a strong support system, yes? Right, you have you can have your virtual get-togethers, you have your phone calls, your video calls, just anything, just don't remain alone, all right? When you connect and you share like that, because I know with you young people, yeah man, you're on the phone all the time, just ensure, and it's a good thing, of course, not saying anything about that, but just not too much of it, yeah? So it's just all about the balance. Ensure that, you talk to people, you do your video calls and such, right? It significantly improves your mental health, and it helps you not to feel alone. Maintain a routine, another self-care tip. Set your day about the same time each day, all right? So if you get up at 7, you know your routine. You do your devotion, you have your shower, you make your tea or your fruit, whatever it is, all right? Class starts at 8:30, for example. You be on time, set your goals for the day, all right? Make your to-do list. Very, very important, all right? Maintain adequate nutrition by eating at least 3 healthy meals per day, right? Your fruits and your vegetables must be included. Take your supplements, take your multivitamins. Try to get at least 1 physical activity in each day. So yes, we are at home. You can walk around your home. You can do your stretches. I was on a YouTube thing this morning where they teach you how to stretch the neck and just a little 5-minute routine. Stretch your arms and just get a whole proper body stretch, and you will feel good to start the day. All right? Very, very important that you include exercise. Set your goals. I mean, this helps to define your priorities. Write down your goals, you know, and write down how you want to accomplish them. And this helps you, of course, to be organized. And it also allows you to keep a track of the progress towards achieving your goal, all right? So when you look, you say, okay, for this semester, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z. And at the end of the month or the end of the whole semester, you check back, say, yes, yeah, man. Oh, thank you, Lord, I have gotten this. Oh, I feel so good about myself, all right? So this, of course, improves self-confidence, and it increases your motivation. Get the heart pumping, get the blood pumping. It's another self-care tip. Exercising, critical, guys. I cannot overemphasize. It boosts your immune system. Exercise does that, yes? And it helps you to sleep better. Active movement releases built-up tension and built-up energy. So guess what? It relieves stress, okay? It improves your mood and, of course, improves your overall mental health. Prioritize sleep. I know for most students, especially when you mismanage your time and, you know, the exam is the next day, you know, you just put in a 2 hour or 3 hours, right? We do not encourage that. We encourage you to stay on top of things, guys. Okay, so you set your priorities, you get this done, get that done, and just enough time to get your good quality sleep, at least for 7 hours. Okay, and when you are rested at least for 7 hours, it boosts your immune system, and that will assist you in fighting off viruses, including the COVID-19 virus. Also, it allows your brain to assimilate the knowledge that you would have acquired throughout the course of the day. All right? Sleep deprivation can make you more sensitive to effects of anxiety. Have you ever been tired, you don't get enough rest, and the next day, you just a bite? Anybody who comes around, trust me, them, you know, afraid of you because you're just so anxious and just so, that is what sleep deprivation does. So getting enough sleep is very, very critical. All right, another self-care tip, quickly as we go through. Listening to music. Music is therapeutic. Any type of music that works for you, yes? It relieves stress, it lowers anxiety and depression, it eases muscle tension, and it enhances your mood. So you can make a playlist of your favorite songs, and when you're having your shower, when you're cooking, you know the moment. So just take a break and just say, you know what, music, it is indeed therapeutic. Another tip to guys, know when it's time to unplug. All of these updates on COVID-19, how much people dead, how much, I mean, it's good to know to keep abreast, but you have to manage how much of that you take in. It can make you anxious, and it will make you depressed. So manage the amount of COVID-19 updates, and even some of the other world news, and even some local news too. You really have to manage what it is that you take in, okay, because it will affect your mental health. And of course, you know, we encourage you to listen to more positive news and more positive stories, you know. That, of course, will assist you in feeling better. That improves your mental health. Binge watching, yeah, man. Binge watch your favorite show, your comedy. You guys know, you're on a Netflix thing, and all of your young people, yeah, man, your feel-good shows. Very, very important that you do that. It evokes a healthy laugh, yeah, and a positive emotion. I know for us as the older folks, well, I like IT and Fancy Cat. You know, they make me laugh, but, I mean, that's us, the older folks. But you guys have a no thing, right? So you know, tune into that and evoke some laughter. Laughter is medicine, okay? And it gives positive emotions, and it's beneficial, and it's a beneficial reward too when you have worked hard, when it is that you choose to watch a nice show and just to reward yourself, okay? Another important point as we are wrapping up now, declutter your living and your work environment, right? I know you ever go into some person's room, right? Some student's room, you have papers piled up from to the roof, right? What that does, it can cause you to become distracted, guys. Organize your space. A disorganized space can lead to increased stress levels, okay? It can also affect your sleep. So I'm encouraging you to create a nice space. As Sir would have mentioned earlier on, Mr. Sapaton, about, you know, creating a nice work area, declutter the area, right? And just have nice, clear area. You organize, it increases your productivity. It allows you to concentrate better, okay? Very important that you do that. Right, another self-care tip. When all of that, when you go through a long day, take a break, guys. Take a time for yourself each day. Just have a moment by yourself, right? Whether it is that you're going to have a nice bath, or whether it is that, or a nice cool shower, or just walk by the seaside, walk by the park, wherever, whichever space you consider to be, nice and therapeutic for you. Step away from the news and your schoolwork. Take a break, right? Do something that you enjoy and that you find relaxing and rejuvenating. Very, very important. And last but not least, guys, breathe. Deep breathing is very, very important, right? It is known to reduce anxiety, and it's known to relieve stress, okay? Taking deep breath allows you to stay present in the moment and provide peace of mind. It slows you down a little bit, you understand? Even on where you are, you can even do some deep breathing, okay? I can demonstrate it for you. You breathe in through the nose and you exhale through the mouth. And while you are breathing, think about pleasant things, Think about the day, for example, when you heard that you were awarded with a scholarship, or you thought that you were going to fail a test and the lecturer said to you, boy, you passed with an A, and you say, wow, really? That kind of a thing. You go somewhere like your favorite vacation spot, whatever it is, but take the time out and breathe, guys. Breathe and just to rejuvenate. So it's in through your nose and out through your mouth. Something like this. Breathe in again. And you do that for 4 to 5 times. Anytime you're feeling stressed, you take the time out and you breathe. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best. And just to encourage you that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. God bless you. Welcome again, and thanks for coming on board.
Right. So moving on to safety and security issues, our next facilitator is Romario Somerville. He will be speaking to us on security issues, and he is from the Department of Security Assurance. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. The name is Romeo Somerville, and I am the Security Assurance Coordinator here at the Caribbean Maritime University. Today, we just want to talk about security and risk management and how to keep yourselves safe while performing your online classes and also your day-to-day activities. Now, when we speak about security and risk management, we basically speak about security-related risk. And this is an ongoing process that the department looks at each and every day, and we also put security measures in place to ensure that we mitigate against whatsoever security threats that might face our students. Now, the department, the Security and Risk Management Unit, consists of Security and Risk Management Manager, and that's our Security and Risk Management Manager is Mr. Milton Reed. Yours truly, the Security Assurance Coordinator, and we have campus caretakers, and we have a contracted security company with security guards. Now, these guards are stationed on our campuses at Port Royal, Admiralty House, and also here at the main campus. Now, the unit is responsible to provide protective support to students, staff, and our visitors. So our main function here at the university is to protect the staff, the student, and visitors coming on the campus. We assist the deans of discipline with security-related issues, meaning investigations. Assist the safety unit in putting policies and procedures in place as it relates to your safety and security as well. Conduct investigations. Now, there are going to be times when you're going to be at school and somebody might mistakenly take up your cell phone or mistakenly take some money from your presence. And that's where the deans and the security team would come in with conduct an investigation. whether it be an accident or anything on the campus relating to a student, our team will conduct an investigation. Now, we manage all security operations at the university's locations. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the Montego Bay campus, we have the Port Royal campus, we have the Copacabana residence, and also at the Admiralty House where the students reside. Now, we manage all security systems at the university, and we're talking about our cameras, our access control systems, our intrusion detection systems, and everything security related in the university. Now, how do we keep our students safe here on campus? Now, we use the aid of the CCTV cameras, and our cameras serve as a means of detection, as a means of also deterring criminals from entering our campus. Access control, when we refer to access control, we mean ways in which we manage who are the persons that come on this campus. And we also use the aid of the CCTV system, the aid of the security guards to manage who comes onto our campus. So authorized persons are not allowed on the campus. Each person coming on the campus must be authorized to come on the campus. Security guards, and as I earlier mentioned, we have security guards on all our locations, all our campuses. Now, police patrols on our campuses. Each campus that we have, we ensure that we have the police officers patrol those campuses. Now, at Admiralty House, we have the Port Royal Police, which monitors the Port Royal campus and the Admiralty House. In Harborview, where our students live, we also have security officers who patrol those areas. And also at the bus stops, where the student would take buses in the morning, we have the police officers frequent those areas as well, and also in the downtown region. Security awareness, this is where we, as a security team, coordinate with the local police, the fire department, and also put out security and safety tips to our students daily, whether through magazines or through emails, or we create a session to inform our students about what is happening in the world of security. Now, we all know that security is very important to every individual. When you're walking downtown Kingston, you're walking wherever in Jamaica, you have to think security. Whether you put your phone in your back pocket, whether you walk with your purse under your arm, whatever you do, you must think security. Security begins with you. Now, while you perform your duties anywhere, or while you attend online classes, we will leave these security tips with you. Ensure that you keep your devices up to date. All your devices, do not ignore your day-to-day updates. Whether it's applications, whether it's an update on an app, just ensure that you keep your devices up to date. Protect your devices. Just ensure that whenever you're using a device or you finish using a device, you do not leave your devices in an area where persons can get access to it. For example, leaving your computer on charge at the window frame, where somebody can just come in and put their hand through the window and take up your devices. Improve your passwords. I know right now we have a lot of persons listening right now who has their password as their date of birth, or their mother's name, or the name of your child, or name of something that they like. Try to change your password. Put it to something where it is hard to guess. Never share your passwords. I know we all have friends and family members that we trust, where we might share our passwords with, but it's not something that we would recommend for you to do. Use public computers with care. Whenever you use public computers, please do not go to any public area and save your passwords in those computers. It can be very detrimental to you as a student or as a staff. Don't fall for phishing scams. This is where you get emails from persons who deem or you think to be credible sources. Share with care. Now, when we talk about care with share, we have persons who they post every day, who likes to post every second of the day on social media. Now, I won't encourage students to post everything that you're doing on social media. Now, when you go ahead and you post that you're leaving home and you post whatever you have in your house, criminals can see that as a target to move in when you're not there and steal your devices or take whatever you have in your house. So whenever you're sharing, share with care. Try to think before you make any of these posts on Facebook. If you have any safety or security matters and want to discuss with us, you can contact us, whether Mr. Milton Reed, and the number is on the screen, or yours truly, Romeo Somerville. Thank you for this presentation, and remember, safety and security begins with you, the individual. You must put security measures in place to safeguard every single asset that you have. And we also, if you have any problems or any security-related issue, you can contact us, and we will liaise with the police here in Harborview or wherever area you're in. Thank you, and be safe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Somerville. And guys, as he said, safety does begin with you, and it's best for you to protect yourself than to go out there and seek protection, or after the damage is done, that's where you feel you must reach out to others to have these issues rectified. And like he was saying about, keeping your personal devices somewhere that is safe, don't just leave it on a window jamb. A similar situation happened to a friend of mine. They just had it at the window, and when they woke up in the morning, all cell phones were gone without a trace, and the doors were indeed locked, and the grills were locked as well. So guys, safety is very important, and I'm imploring you all to put your best foot forward and always try to protect yourself as best as possible. With that being said, our next topic of discussion is from the Office of Technology and Innovation, where Mr. Mark Lee will be presenting to us. He is the project manager for our e-learning website. Mr. Lee?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I would like to start by welcoming you to the Caribbean Maritime University. I hope you're all doing safe. I hope you are sound in these trying times. As you heard earlier, my name is Mark Lee. I'm the project manager with the OLERT unit within the Office of Technology and Innovation. The OLERT stands for Online Learning, E-Research and Technology. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to attempt to introduce the LMS, or the Learning Management System, that we'll be using to deliver the courses for the duration of this semester and the foreseeable future until COVID removes itself. I would like to begin by speaking about our LMS and how you can access it. I am sure that you will already have had some form of interaction with a learning management system. So right now, I'd like you to just put a plug in the chat and tell us which learning management software you are using at your high school or your community college, wherever you're coming from. And I would expect to see, the chat going off, right about now. Now, Moodle is the version or the LMS that we are using, and in order to access it, you'll receive an email with your login credentials. The login credentials are identical to the ones that you would have used to access your SRS platform, which was mentioned earlier by Ms. Dennis, our examinations manager. What I would like you to do, I'm going to put up on your screen now the login page. And if it is visible, and you can see it clearly, in the top right-hand corner, you can see I've indicated that little star is very crucial. If you reach class late and you have to search for the website address, you're going to make matters worse. So the very instant that you get the email, bookmark, or save it, and try to enter, maybe 5 minutes before. Now, in terms of accessing the platform, your password is linked to your SRS account. And so if it is that you have changed the password, then it's going to be changed on your e-learning site as well. Now, in terms of navigating the site, I think it's a Jamaican culture, I'm not sure, but we have a tendency to pull things out of the wrapper, take it out of the package, throw away the manual, and get to work like we're professionals or we were the ones that design it. Do not do that. Take the tour. It's a 2 to 3 minute tour. It's not going to hurt you. It will not hurt rather it will actually help you in a great deal in terms of organizing your projects, your assignment, your researches, that sort of stuff. I'm about to show you the dashboard. When you log in, so after you've left this page and you've successfully logged in, you'll be brought to this page. Now this is a dashboard. This is like your personal space, aka your own little apartment within our complex. And in your apartment, you're able to see the different rooms, your different courses. What that means is, if a course is not reflecting on your platform, chances are that if you can see where we have the course overview, change that to all, except remove from view, and it will populate. In the top left corner, to the left of the abbreviation CMU, you will see some 3 horizontal lines. This is your navigation menu in the collapsed form, and if you look on the right of your screen, the image is showing you the expanded version of your navigation menu. On your dashboard, it will show you all your courses. Within a course, it will show you all your assignments, all the different projects, the different times for your lectures and so forth. So this is an easy way to access or to move around within the site. The tour will explain a little bit more, and what I would like for you to do is to ensure that if you have any questions regarding, maneuvering the site, you reach out to us at alertsupport@cmu.edu.gm. Now, to the meat of the matter, your online classes. The online classes are not different from your face-to-face or your physical class. You attend class, you show your teacher and your classmates the same amount of respect, and you take your notes, you get to do your assignments afterwards, and you hope that when you finish your assessment, you roll out with a wonderful A or a B. Now, the slight variation is that persons often hide behind, their computers or their screens. And the person who would have been timid in the face-to-face class now has all the strength in the world. So just by a screen and a little internet or a Wi-Fi connection, a lot of us transform into Hulk. We don't want that hulkish behavior in our classrooms. What we would like is the proper mannerism and conduct to be displayed that is befitting of a student. So to go into it, don't be a meme. You have persons who, I saw this one where a student set up a mannequin, put on a nice little wig, makeup, eyelashes, the whole 9 yards. And when you look to the right of the image, you see a nice little cut, and she draw a snore, and she count through the gears them. No, don't do that. I mean, the amount of money that you've spent to partake in this degree or in your studies, if you're going to joke it out, it's better you did buy a taxi and go and run some robot taxi. But since you spend the money and you're here, make use of it. Don't sleep out the class, don't hide out the class. A positive recommendation would be, normally what would happen in the face-to-face classes is that they would form a WhatsApp group, and so that they would look after each other via the WhatsApp group and pass on messages and notifications and that kind of thing. And I think that would be something that is mutually beneficial in the same setting here. While we won't be able to facilitate it, you are able to do so on your own. Now, the lectures themselves are recorded. They are recorded every week, right? It's not a mandatory thing, it's optional, and usually all our lecturers do that. However, this is no excuse to miss a class, right? The beauty of it, of having the recording, is that if you don't understand something, you can go back and play it. The disadvantage of listening only to the recording is that you don't have the lecturer to question or ask questions in the class. And so use it as a backup tool. It is removed once the next lecture is ready to be uploaded. And again, please ensure your camera and your microphones are off. I work with IT, I thought it could never happen. I have colleagues here who can testify they had to scream out, "Mark, lock off your camera." So my 3-year-old son pulled a little tape off the camera. I had no idea, and the rest is history. Do not take it for a joke. Ensure at all times you're muted and your camera is off. All right, and to end, we will look at our team. We have a student experience team which comprises of the different units within the Office of Technology, and the team responsible for student comprises of members from all of those different units. The team lead is Carlton Spencer. We have a programmer. We have two programmers, actually, Oswald Smith and David Russell. And we have a bunch of analysts, Miss Waldron, Mr. Niami, Ashley Clark, and Shani Coburn, and Tyrese. Those last three are what we call support officers. And myself as a project manager and the deputy team lead. So we are all here to assist. We're going to leave the plug in the chat for our contact information. However, we'll be using the LMS to further introduce the team in a greater depth. I would like to close by saying that we officially want to welcome you and we look forward to serving you with that CMU excellence and enthusiasm.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. And guys, let me tell you that do not just run on onto the platform 2 minutes before it's class time expecting that it will run smoothly, because I kid you not, and I'm speaking from personal experience, it will not go smoothly. You need to take the time out to read the instructions, understand how to manipulate the platform, and then you go ahead to proceed. Also, let me go ahead and try to let you guys know that it is important to participate in class. I know a lot of us feel like when our microphone is off and our camera is off, we don't need to talk, we just need to listen. You'll fall asleep, you won't learn. So the more you interact with your peers and your teachers, the more you learn. And then you might develop a special bond with your teacher, who knows, right? So our next facilitator is Lamar Clark, our Senior System Supports Officer from the Office of Technology and Innovation. So he'll be continuing from Mr. Lee. Proceed, Mr. Clark. I am sorry again.
It's all right. Thank you, ma'am. We're all looking forward to the acting day in a discipline come up, but just before him, I'll just go ahead. Thank you. All right, so my name was already mentioned. I'm Lamar Clark. And today, I'm going to be talking to you about the ERP. And we're going to be focusing on some of the student side of stuff. Before we go forward, I want to just ask you, have you ever seen this screen before? I know many of you might recognize it as the screen you went to when you were creating your online application. But you're transitioning into students now, so you will know it as your student portal login page. Let's get back into it. ERP. So ERP, which stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, is a business process management software, and it's a system of integrated application that manages the institution business processes. It automates and streamlines these processes, which significantly improve the effectiveness of allocating and operating resources. Now, the portion of the ERP that is specific to you students is the SRS, or the Student Record System. Now, the SRS is used to store and manage all student data. During this presentation, I'm going to go through some of these student data that it's used to store and manage, which would include student biographic info, registration details, financial details, student grades, and exam-related matters. All right, so the student portal. Now, to get to the student portal landing page that you're seeing here, you have to go to srs.cmu.edu.jm, click login, you'll end up on this page. You'll then need to log in with your student portal username and password, which for me, Lamar Clark, you're seeing now, lclark@stu.cmu.edu.jm. You type your password, you click on login, and you're ready to explore the student portal. So let's explore the student portal. Now, once you're logged in, you'll land on this page here. This is known as the student portal homepage. On the left corner of the student portal homepage, you'll see a few buttons. These buttons are some of the actions that you can carry out from your student portal. We're going to look at a few of them, and we'll start with My Info. Let's get into it. My Info. Now, as a student, and I'm pretty sure you heard earlier when Mrs. Sutherland Brown was talking, she was telling you about student holds, registration details, and so forth. Now, as a student, you have the ability to see all of these things from your student portal. One of the important things that you might want to check as a student is if you have any student holds. A student hold can prevent you from accessing grades and other student resources, the library, access to student letters, and other student resources. Now, I'm currently on student holds now from all the menus there, and you can know that because the student hold menu is highlighted. Now, there is a list of the student holds on the left once you have clicked on the menu, and anyone that is ticked is the hold that you currently have. For this student, there are currently no student holds. So that means this student should be okay to access student resources. Another thing I want us to look at is the registration details. All right, so we're looking at the registration details now for this student, and I want you to take note of the financial status for this student. The financial status is conditional clearance, which means two things. You're not fully cleared, so there are some resources that you might not have access to, but you do have some sort of clearance. So there are some student resources that you will be able to access, such as classes, to be able to see your grades, and some student documents. Of course, the library, you will need that. You'll have access to the library. All right, that was my info. You can see there are other buttons. When you log in to your student portal, you have the ability to explore all of those. Now, as a student, Mark was just telling you about how you access classes. So the thing that you now need to know is how to access your grades. Now, you will go to e-learning to see all the classes and to participate in classes, but as it relates to grades, all grades will be entered here on the SRS. So when you log in, you go to My Courses, you make the relevant selections, and your coursework grades will come up. Now, in order for you to see the grades here, there's two criteria that must be filled by your lecturers. One, the grade must be entered, and two, it must be published. That is to say, if the lecturer enters the grade and does not publish it, you will not see it. And if the lecturer does not enter a grade and publish, you will see all zeros. So, things to keep in mind when you check your grades and you're not seeing what you think you should be seeing. All right, Ms. Dennis, I think Ms. Dennis had talked to you earlier about, during the registry presentation, about the exam card. Here's where you go to actually print it. So this is what the exam card looks like when you pull it up on a student portal. You then need to click on Print Exam Card, this button right here, to generate the printed exam card, which I think you saw it already. It looks something like this. And of course, if you lose the exam card, you can go back and print it again. We advise you keep them safe because each signature on the exam card is kind of like your receipt to say that you did that exam. All right, let's go back to the student portal homepage. And let's look at something that you'll need at the end of the semester or so forth to probably show your parents or a body that you're seeking to get a scholarship from, and that's your progress report. Now, to get your progress report, you click on the Print Progress Report button, and that will bring up a dialog box looking like this. You then need to select the specific criteria that you want to print the progress report for, and you generate the progress report. Now, because this is an actual student, I didn't generate the progress report. I don't want you to see what their grades are actually looking like, but when your time comes, you can go ahead, log in, try it. I'm sure you'll get some results. All right, so that was it for the student portal. I'm actually going to end the presentation here because I'm pretty sure we'll have further discussions after today. So I'm going to invite the dean that we've all been looking for soon. Until then, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clark. So guys, as he said before, you know, you need to get familiar with the SRS portal because it and the Moodle platform are what we will be using because of the pandemic and because we're going to be doing school online for a period of time, let me say. So get familiar with your online platforms. It becomes easier to manipulate over a period of time, so just continue to work with it. Now, we will be having George Malcolm, our acting Dean of Discipline, to speak on students' rights, responsibilities, and behavioral expectations. Mr. Malcolm?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that lovely introduction. As you would have heard before from the presenter, Ms. Stacy and Jack, she would have given a rundown of the discipline unit and some of what we do. I want to welcome you all, and I want to applaud you at the same time, as our theme suggests, forging ahead in unprecedented times. Despite the hardship, despite the challenges, you are here and you chose us. Out of all the options that you have, you chose us, the Caribbean Maritime University, your university of choice. Thank you, and we welcome you. The discipline unit is a unit within the Office of Student Affairs, and our director is Donette Phillips. And as I dive into my presentation, you'll see objectives where I'll be talking about students' rights and responsibilities, as well as students' behavioral expectations, some of what Mr. Lee would have spoken about briefly just now. Disciplinary unit, we have 3 core functions, but that doesn't mean there is not much more that we do in our unit. The discipline unit is comprised of 3 members: myself, George Malcolm, the acting dean of discipline, Mr. Curtis Garrick, the assistant dean of discipline, and Ms. Stacy and Jack, the female proxy dean of discipline. We ensure proper deportment of all students, ensure student adherence to University Code of Conduct, assist with the safety and security of our students, as well as students transitioning, and you will be transitioning into your university life. We educate you of the do's and don'ts. We implore you to read your student handbook, get familiar with your code and conduct of the university. And as I move forward, students' rights and responsibility. We would understand that once there is a right comes responsibility, and it encompasses much. It's wide and very broad. We speak of assembly, confidentiality, right to fair process. I'll go further by explaining some of these. To learn in an environment where they are treated with equity, dignity, and respect. We at the Caribbean Maritime University, we provide a safe and a natural environment whereby students can be treated with equity, dignity, and respect by all our staff members as well as their peers. Moving on, to participate in activities at the university without harassment, intimidation, or discrimination. The university don't take kindly to any form of harassment or discrimination, as we have policies and procedures regarding all harassment and discrimination. It can be discrimination based on race, political affiliation, your gender, and you name it. So we don't take kindly to any form of discrimination. Discrimination in the student handbook is a major misconduct in which our policies and procedures will point to. So we urge you to get familiar with your student handbook. To privacy and confidentiality of personal information. This confidentiality is paramount in the Dean of Discipline department, unit, so to speak, as well as the Office of Student Affairs, as we have seen and experienced, sensitive information, and we ensure that all our students' information are confidential in that aspect. To freedom of speech, expression, inquiry, and peaceful assembly on campus. Freedom of speech here doesn't necessarily mean students can just speak freely and be disrespectful to any of our staff member and or their peers. There are limits and there are rules regarding freedom of speech. Moving on, to have access to established university procedures, and this I just make mention to get familiar with your student handbook, know your right and responsibility as student, read through and get to know your code of conduct, as this answers your questions regarding all the policies and procedures that we have at the university, as well as information regarding other departments. To fair procedures in proceedings involving students at the university. There are student union representation that represent our students, and we ask students we ask students to be familiar with their student union reps, and whenever there are proceedings, we ask for staff members from different departments to be involved, so there is a fair process. To submit grievances and expect recourse for these and any other offense. At the Caribbean Maritime University, even within the discipline unit, we ensure that whenever a grievance or incident is submitted to our unit, we deal with it in the fastest and the most acceptable manner. In that, we have a process. We launch an investigation into each process to determine the truth from what actually happened. To be provided with access to adequate resources to support academic pursuit. At the university, you know, everything is online presently. We provide e-books, as Ms. Bishop would have made mention to, and students can take advantage of that. Moving on to students' responsibilities. You know, it's wide in that sense, as I make mention that once there are rights, there are responsibilities. You should, you know, we're asking students to show responsibility for, you know, their actions, be safe, be respectful in that manner. To attend classes regularly and on time. This is your first sign of self-discipline and self-actualization, whereby you know that, you know, you are to attend class at a particular time and you get up, you do what you needed to do, and you start your class and you start it on time. To meet stipulated academic and non-academic deadlines of the university. As for coursework and all of that, we ensure and we implore students to get their coursework done and get it done on time. And, you know, a lot of students might take it for granted because they're looking forward to the end of term examination, but the coursework adds up it accounts for 40 to 50% of your final grade, whereby this is very crucial throughout your entire university life. So we implore students to do their coursework and capitalize as much as possible on their courseworks. To respect the rights and welfare of the university staff and students, and to obey public national laws. Students, maturity and professionalism. The discipline unit or the discipline team foster leadership skills, maturity and professionalism as we mold our students into global leaders. Maturity and professionalism is paramount at the university as we consider students here as an adult, and we want for them to act accordingly. We ask for students to be on time, to be respectful, and not to disturb the teaching and learning process, be prepared for classes, and be attentive. And we move on to code of conduct and dress code. The code of conduct aims to encourage respect, integrity, and good behavior of students at the university, maintain order and discipline, and to an extent safety and security of our students, as Mr. Somerville would have made mention to. Code of conduct consists of minor, major, and gross misconduct, in which I will not go in details because I want for students to read their handbook and get familiar with their rights and responsibilities as students, as well as the code of conduct. The handbook is like your Bible. This is what you'll use throughout your entire university life to know the do's and the don'ts, all the rules and regulation governing the university and you as a student. So we ask students to get familiar. As Mr. Lee had made mention to not just now regarding students' dress code, we ask for students to dress appropriately, seeing that you won't be wearing your uniform. Dress appropriately for classes, because a lecturer might ask you to do a presentation. Please refrain, or you know what, don't wear earrings, do not wear hats, do not do that. We're asking you kindly just dress appropriately for your online classes and so on. As we dive into students' behavioral expectations, discipline is wide. It's the bridge, as some might say, is this bridge between goals and accomplishment. And as I mentioned before, the self-discipline is basically you just having some form of self-actualization, just knowing that you're supposed to do a particular thing and you get it done and you get it done on time. As for the security aspects of it, I didn't hear Mr. Somerville make mention to cybercrime, so I'll touch on it a little bit. Cybercrime is basically any activity or any crime that can be facilitated by a network device, right? And this can be whether a scam or anything of that nature. It is considered a crime. And it is categorized with cyberbullying as cyber stalking. Cyberbullying basically using a social media social media platform to attack someone or send information just mimicking or trolling another students. We do not take kindly to that either, and those matters we addressed accordingly. As for cyber stalking, it's basically using, a network or the internet, perhaps, to stalk or keep tabs on students or whomever. It is a crime, and you can be charged for it. It is a gross misconduct in our student handbook, and we ask students to be vigilant in whatever they're doing and be mindful of their peers as well as their facilitators. So we ask students not to partake in any act of cybercrime, cyberbullying, cyber stalking thereof. And as I move to the end of my presentation, I want to say thank you, students. Thank you for making it Caribbean Maritime University. And remember, it's not where you're coming from, it's where you're going. And just always be vigilant in what you're doing. Try to develop some form of self-discipline where that is concerned. And at the university, our team ensures that we instill some form of discipline and social grace that, in turn will inspire a change. Because I am a past student of this very institution, and I am a splitting example of what discipline is, as I am now managing the discipline unit. So thank you again. This is our contact information. You can reach out to us at any time. I actually prefer having you, in person, because it would be much more of an interactive session whereby we could talk more about the deportment, what is accepted from what is not. But for every month, I'll send you infographics. We'll do webinars with the security team to keep you informed and educated of what we expect of you as students. And as you can see on the screen, you can put it down if you wish, discipline@cmu.edu.jm. You can reach me directly at gmalcolm@cmu.edu.jm, as well as the contact number 323-2284. And I thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malcolm. And as said before, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you all to read your handbook. I implore you all to get familiar with the do's and the don'ts. While you might get away with some things, being that we are in a technological space, being that you're not on campus now, certain things you might get away with, but get familiar with your handbook. And I know you are all maybe getting weary, but hang in there with me. We're almost at the end. Right now, we're going to have a virtual campus tour featuring Jovan Miller. He will be giving you a virtual tour using some drones, I assume, to get you familiar with the compound. Are you ready, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Over to you.
Thanks. Hi, guys. I'm Jovan Miller. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Let me also welcome you to the CMU family. It is a family. And even though it's small isn't bad, right? Small means close, connected. So I'm going to take you on a virtual tour. I am your tour guide today. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, and hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing, this is a 360 spherical view of the campus. Again, because you can't be here, we're going to be here for you. So as soon as you enter the campus, you enter the campus from the Caribbean Maritime Institute Road. It's actually called that. You are met upon the security post. And upon meeting the security post, that is where you're going to get your temperature check and you're going to get your alcohol wash, as to what I call it. There is also an NCB ATM. And as we look around, we're going to see the fact center. Now, this is a very, very advanced engineering lab that has pneumatics, for those who are interested or even know what it is, pneumatics, hydraulics, drone equipment. Further back, we have the treasury, which a lot of people are interested in. And behind this tree and behind a couple of buildings, we have the main administrative block. As we turn left, we have the information board. And for those who are interested in doing marine, your marine head office is at this section. So we're going to close this. I'm going to move on to another section of the tour, which is the administrative block, as to what I had mentioned before. Now, this is the main administrative block, and this is kind of like the heart of the campus, the main campus. So once you enter through the main section, what you'll be greeted upon is this. This is exactly what you'll be seeing. The main building, which is the main administrative block, which is the heart, which holds all of the staff of the CMU, or most of the staff of the CMU. You have the Office of Student Affairs, who had a wonderful speech earlier. Following this arrow, following within this area is a library, if you follow this arrow, and here is a treasury, as to what I had mentioned before. Now, if we turn more to the left, this is the electrical laboratory for those who are doing engineering, and this is the computer laboratory number 2. And mostly important for me is the canteen. And if it's not for you, well, I mean, kudos. All right, so we're moving on. If the browser will allow me to. Here we are. So this is an important place that I spent a lot of my time. It's the library. And the library, Ms. Bishop came in and had actually explained the library and its actions and everything that goes on therein. Let me see if I can just pause this. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to the workshop area. Let me pause it here. So this is the workshop area for those who do engineering. If we were all guessing before, I did engineering here. So that's where you have a majority of the engineering pictures here. But this is the drill press. This is basically the engineering workshop. What was said before regarding safety is extremely important here. There are a couple of videos online that are very scary, that shows what happens when you play around with some of these equipment. This is a lathe machine. This is an older lathe machine. But overall, this is a workstation. Overall, this is what you would experience when you're there. Benefit of COVID-19 is that you're in there kind of gets hot. It's a lot of machinery and you're home comfortable right now. So there you go. That's a wonderful, as to what someone said earlier, in every negative, there's actually a positive. In every loss, there's a gain. Right, so this is an exit. Right. Now, when we designed this, we did it with the intention that when I first came here, there are a lot of stuff that I wanted to see, but because it wasn't in my faculty, I could not see. For example, the bridge. I would have loved to see the bridge simulator, but it wasn't in my faculty, so I couldn't see it. With this now, you have a bird's eye view, and you can see exactly what those who do that course see. For now, this is the welding shop. This is where they weld. And you have welding stations. These curtains are here because, you know, when you're welding, it produces this really bright light. So to protect yourself and really to protect others around you in this area, these blackout type curtains are here. So we have the welding stations. Here we have the welding power plants, which are within each station. We have a big fan because it does get hot. You're working with temperature of over like 500 degrees, so you need to stay cool. And this is the main office for the welding workshop. This is where we were once. This is the workshop. So we're going to move on. All right, so I showed you a special area of the workshop. This is, oh, well, this is the same workshop. So we're going to move on from there. What I'm really excited to show you guys, I'm a kid at heart, so what I'm really excited to show you guys is the bridge. It's really, once you're, this doesn't really quite do it justice, but we're trying to help you out as much as possible. This is the Festo lab. Now, again, I had mentioned before that the Festo is a very advanced area that has pneumatics, it has robotics. Pneumatics is working with air, by the way. Hydraulics, which is working with liquids. And this is our workstation. Now, if it is that you do engineering, this is one of the areas that you're going to work, most likely would work with. So this is a pneumatics workstation. This has a lot of gear in there for you to experiment and play around, for you to actually learn, because you learn through play. Well, I believe you learn through play. This is the main whiteboard, in which most likely you'll get most of your schematic diagrams from. This is the exit, teacher's desk. So again, what we wanted to do is to, because you couldn't be here, provide you with a tour, provide you with something that allows you to be here in spirit. And last but not least, the thing that I care about the most, and personally I care about this the most because I couldn't get to view this when I was here, this is the bridge simulator. And you can see they have around 6 monitors in there. Trust me, once you're in there, you feel like you're actually on a ship. Some people actually get seasick. And these are the instruments that you could see. So this is the radar, this is an actual chart. Now, when you're on a ship, you use 2 charts. You have a digital chart, and you're also required to actually manually use an actual chart. Right here, we're looking at the port of Kingston. So this is actually Kingston Harbor. And on to the right, we have some ship information. That gives a heads-up display as to what's going on with the vessel and how it is performing. But yeah, that's it for the majority of the tour. I hope that it gave you some insight as to what is here, what it is that you can see, what it is that you can experience. I understand that we're a campus overall that does not, we have a general theme. So even if you're doing engineering or you're doing logistics or you're doing customs, everyone kind of has something that intertwines with the other, and you can learn so much from just talking to another student once you're here. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your time here as much as I did.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for lunch. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone had a good lunch, something that was healthy, and we are all in the frame of mind to finish today's orientation. With that being said, we're going to jump right into students' transitioning session. This is entitled Adjusting to Tertiary Life, and it is directed by Mrs. Colleen Johnson Davis. She is a lecturer and a program coordinator.
Good afternoon to our new students to the Caribbean Maritime University. As was said before, my name is Colleen Johnson Davis, and I may just be facilitating a few of you in this coming year or another 2 years from now. So we're going to be talking about adjusting to tertiary life in this pandemic. Right, and so there are several things that we're going to be looking at, and I would like for you to pay keen attention. Now, some of it will be repetitive because you would have heard so many different people from this morning, and I believe you have sessions tomorrow. right? So you'll be hearing some of it again. But guess what? Repetition is one of the ways in which we learn. So we will be doing, we will be hearing, we will be doing, and then you'll be able to, retain. And that's what we want you to do. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at things like the mission and vision statements. I'm not going to be spending very long on that. Why are you here? The present position for you as students, new students, and tips for adjusting to tertiary life during a pandemic, and then we're going to be concluding. So I do not intend to be very long with you today. The day has been already far spent, so I will not be spending more than my allotted time. So you already know the mission, redefining maritime excellence through innovation and technology. And so this is our goal. This is what we aim for by the time you're finished with us in 4 years' time. And our vision, the Maritime University of Choice for Global Leaders. And yes, many of our past students have become a part of the global leadership in maritime and its affiliated sectors. And so we are aiming to have you join those sectors, and to not just join, but to become leaders yourselves. The CMU's focus is on preparing students at the undergraduate and graduate levels for careers within the maritime and allied industries. And there are multiple careers out there that you could pursue. And our former students are doing very well at that. And so we expect you to do the same. And in fact, with the climate, if I should say that, not as in the weather, but in terms of how things are going in the sector of the maritime sector, and it's a very, very good one, and things are opening up all over, right? We're becoming more global, where there are invisible lines between us right now. And so you are poised to get jobs not just in Jamaica, but practically anywhere that you choose to work. And so that is what our job is to prepare you for such. All right, so, I tried to find some pictures of some, possible jobs out there. Of course, I would not be able to put up every single thing, but to the left, you'll see those persons doing all kinds of things on a ship or on a vessel, as you would call it. To the right, we have a female officer, right? And some of you are going to be just that, whether male or female. You'll become officers eventually. You will start low, rise to the levels, and become great people out there, captains and so on. I mean, let's look at what's going on in our local army. Soon we'll be led by a female, and she would have risen to the highest rank that anyone else, that no one else has risen to. And so it shows that there's no barrier. And I believe she was a student here at one point. Then we have persons here doing customs duties. And so we have many students who do that along with other things in that sector of our economy. And to the right, we see a female engineer. I'm not biased or anything, but I just want our females to understand that it's there for them too. It's there for you ladies for the taking. It's not just for the men, but it's for you as well. So it's for you to aspire to become. All right, so this is the desire. We would all love to be back in the classroom. I believe that this picture might be my picture of one of my sessions, because I've been here for quite a while. So I would have had many chances to take pictures of my students. I love to do that, right? And there they are sitting in a room doing some work and whatever. This is what we would love, to get back to face. But unfortunately, we know we are living in a pandemic, and so it is not possible for us to be like this. I mean, if you look, you'll see that people are seated close together and all of that. We wouldn't be able to do that now. And so the reality is we're at home, sitting on a computer with headsets on or off, cameras on or off, mics on or off. That's the situation we now live in. Some of you might just get up. Classes might start like 8 a.m. and you might be up 7:45, barely do anything, barely waking up, and then you have logged on for a class. That's a lifestyle that almost everyone is living now. Even those who work sometimes, we see the jokes online all the time. I remember this joke with this person putting up a mannequin head. I don't know if you saw it. You'd have seen it. And she's well curled up in her couch, sleeping, while the mannequin represents her apparently some kind of group meeting or work meeting. But we don't want that to be you. We want you to be very attentive, even though we're not able to see everybody. Yes, we want you to turn on the mics, but I know at this stage, for us to force you to turn on the mics, that's another issue. But we expect you to turn your mics on and your cameras. That's what I really should say. Your cameras on, not the mics. Turn your mics on when you're required to do so. But it would be good for your teachers to be able to see you, right? I have to be begging my students, can I see how you look? I might just pass you on the road, you know? They don't really want to open their cameras. But nevertheless, we press on. So how do we adjust? I mean, let me go back a little bit. How do we move from the desire? How do we adjust to the desire and what the reality is? How are we going to, do this? How are we going to survive in now university? Many of you are coming from high school, right? And so you are not aware as to what is required of you, or you might be faintly aware, but there are things you need to know and understand. So let's take a look at how you're going to be adjusting. First thing, we want to focus on the positive things. Now, unfortunately, with social media, the new research hub, and WhatsApp, right? Yesterday when they went down was quite a joke for me and others, right? Because as some would say, no research can go on yesterday. No research never take place because we research on Facebook and Instagram and wherever. And unfortunately, the point I wanted to make is that there are so many negative things coming across these networks. And so you ought to protect yourselves. How do you protect yourself? Focus on the positives. Find positive things. Find positive things in your life and around you and focus on those. Do not focus on just negativity and all of that. It will bring you down, guys. Take it from me. It will tear you right down. So make sure that you're focusing on things that are good. As we would learn when we were in Sunday school, count your blessings. Count the little things that are going on good for you. You wake up this morning and you can breathe in your right mind. Hello? You're better off than a lot of people. Give thanks, right? So no matter what it is, be thankful. Establish and maintain a routine. Now, this is also important. We're all accustomed to routine, but being at home, you'll find that routine gone through the door, right? As I said a while ago, some of us end up waking up 7:45 for an 8 a.m. class. But we should try to still pretend as if we were going out to school. And those of us who work from home, we still pretend as if we're going out to work. What time would you have awoken to go to work? Yes, you wouldn't wake that early, but you still need to wake up at least an hour in advance. Eat something, bathe, wash your face, brush your teeth, and just feel alive, all right? When you drag yourself to a class having just, rising from slumber, then you're going to be very slumbery. That's my word, right? Slumbery in the class, and then teacher is like, guys, are you hearing me? I'm not hearing anybody commenting, etc., because you still want to sleep. All right, so you need to establish a routine for yourself, right? And stick to that routine every day, even if you don't have an 8 o'clock class, because you can utilize the time in the day to do work that you need to catch up on, your assignments, etc. Select the time of day that works best for you. I'm nocturnal, so I stay up late at night to do things. If I don't stay up late, it's not going to be done, right? It's not going to be done, and there's going to be problems. I am not an early riser. That is not something that's in me. So this waking up at 3 a.m. to do work, not going to work with Colleen. It's not going to work with me, but that's me. What works for you? Some people, 3 a.m. actually works out for them. So if it works for you, work with it, okay? Work with it, wake up early, get stuff done, and then those people tend to go to bed early as well. So whatever works for you, students, work with that, all right? That's my best advice. Another thing, I found that I've had to be using planners, a physical planner. Now, I'm a techie girl, so I love to do everything on my phone, but I'm finding out now because I have so many different lives, so to speak. I'm at a point now where I cannot just use my phone only because I have a work phone, I have a church phone, and I have a phone for my personal self. And then I manage the lives of my children, all right? And all of those things, if I have to be using different devices, and I don't want everything on one device, I really don't. There's just something about that doesn't click well with me. So I have found now that I'm using a physical planner. So even though I have my phone, so I'm not saying that you guys have to use a physical planner, but utilize the calendar feature on your phone. And there are also quite a lot of apps out there that allows for students to be able to plan and set up your assignment dates and so on, so that you keep track of yourselves. I don't think I'm saying anything wrong here. Use a planner, whether it's an app or something physical. It helps to keep you organized and that you won't miss out on assignments. And the fact that you're new, you might not know anybody in the class and there's nobody to help keep track for you. So I suggest you do that as soon as possible, as soon as you begin. Practice journaling. So again, another book, and of course, there are apps that will allow you to journal. Now, personally, I've started many of these apps and have not quite finished them. That's bad on my part. But it doesn't mean that you have to be like me. Don't be like Helene, all right? Be a good student. Get your journal and record, your feelings, your thoughts on the things that you went through throughout the day. You will see that this practice of journaling, it is a practice used in education. It helps both teachers and students, all right? It helps to keep you focused, because if you know you're going to be writing down stuff at the end of the day, then you'll be more keyed in as to the things that you're doing and how you feel about it. So it will definitely help you even for that, all right? So you can start journaling. Hanging out with friends and family, at home and so on, or those that you don't have at home and they're elsewhere. You can use the different online meets. There's Zoom, there is Google Meet, there are so many others out there. Those are the two popular ones that you can use to actually plan a hangout. I've been to quite a few birthday parties online, right? I have been to cake cutting. I have been to baby showers online, all kinds of, it sounds crazy still, but yeah. I've been to all of these things online, and it makes people feel good. Sometimes I'm really not that much into going to an online party or online birthday, but when you go, when you attend, you actually feel nice, you get a couple jokes, you're able to relax a little bit. So do something with your family, and if you're all with this, no problem, right? And your friends as well. I've seen people do things like everybody have their own drink at home and their own snacks and so on, and they meet online, watch movies together. People do that. There are things you can do. So nothing is wrong, even though you're in school and you should be doing your learning and everything. You have a lot of reading to do and so on. But you also need time for yourself. And by the way, going back to the planner, plan for me time, right? Plan for me time. Plan to take care of yourself, right? Plan to get a break. Do something. If you love coffee, drink your coffee. If you love, I'm not promoting liquor, but some of you love your wine or your whatever spritz. If you want to do that, fine. Do something for yourself and don't wait for a big thing to happen. Some of us are waiting for a big vacation. Hello, that might never come anytime soon. So if you love cake, eat a little cake, at the end of the day. If you love this, do whatever, right? But treat yourself a little toops of time throughout the day, right? Hang out with your friends and so on. It's okay to feel sad, lonely, and anxious. We're living in times now where that is sadly one of the things we don't want to focus on, right? But yes, people do have these feelings. They have the feeling. What do you do if you have the feeling? Hello, it's normal to have this feeling. So don't feel away if you feel sad, if you feel lonely, if you feel anxious. We have the facility here at CMU, the student services. They provide for you to be able to get someone to speak with if you need it. So there are counselors and there's a chaplain, right? Reverend Linton and so on, and we have counselors. So therefore, if you need to reach out, please reach out to your student services and don't suffer in silence. If you realize that you're not getting over these feelings, do something about it, all right? Do something about it. Don't sit there and suffer in silence. These things are free to you because you paid your school fee, guys. So once you've paid your school fee, you're free to ask for these services. All right, this one here now. Practice good sleep hygiene. I think since COVID started, many of us have really, dropped down. If I were to ask for a raise of hands, how many people have been sleeping later because you're up watching Netflix series and all them things there, right? People in the room in front of me are raising their hands. Yeah, we all are going to bed later. Even the kids, I can't get my kids to go to bed. No matter what, everybody's just excited to stay up. right? I don't know if because we're home all the time or whatever, but it's important for us to get good sleep, guys. Probably at your stage, maybe 6 hours is enough. I'm not sure if you have to go 8, but that is why you have to plan your life, because you need to plan bedtime too, right? Remember, you're going to plan me time. So in your me time, you can watch Netflix. But don't be sitting watching TV the whole time or being on the internet all the time, being on IG and all of these things. TikTok. TikTok can waste a lot of your time, you know. You'll be on TikTok and you say, oh, you're just going to check a couple videos. And when you look at the time, you're there 1 hour, 2 hours. Come on. We have to watch ourselves, right, guys? So practice good sleep hygiene. Eat well. To get my children to eat well, that's also another story. Because we're home, we snack a lot, you know, and we're doing all kinds of things. We're not necessarily eating properly. And we eat more. Many people have gained weight since this pandemic. So now is a good time for you to actually watch your weight. You have too much work to do, so you're not supposed to find time to eat so much, right? You'll have a lot of work to do, so focus on your work. How that sound, right? But when we say eat well, it's not just about eating on time, it's what we eat. So because we are in a pandemic and we know what COVID can do, it's important that we eat well. So eat your veggies, your fruits, your water, and you also, guys, at this stage, you will have to get some supplements. You can't walk this thing just so, right? You have to get some supplements, get some vitamins, get some brain boosters, whatever it is that you need. Now I'm talking about legal, right? Over-the-counter proper drugs that you can buy at a pharmacy. So that's what I am imploring for you to do, nothing less and nothing else. And so coming with that is exercise. So some of you are very vibrant young people, you're involved in stuff, you do sports, still continue to do your sports. For those who don't have a sport, exercise, walk around. And if you don't like going outside, walk around the house, walk around your yard. Find something to do physical to get your juices flowing. That's my suggestion. Step outside for a minute. Some of us are really homebodies. We don't like to go outside. But you really should go out and get some sun. In fact, I think they say that the sun is one of the things that can help to treat ourselves during this COVID pandemic time. You can actually be very sick from a lack of the vitamin D, which I think is what the sun gives you. All right? I remember my grandma told me that she had to get a shot for that because she lives in England and you know how it is. How today looked is how England looked most of the time. Dark and dreary, right? And you're not getting any sun. So step outside sometimes, guys. Get some vitamin D and stretch out and smell outside. Hopefully you live in a nice place where you're not smelling smoke and all of that. But just get out and look around, look at the animals, look at people passing, and then you can go back inside afterwards. And I already talked about treating yourself daily, so I won't have to get into that again. And by you know it, I'm done. I'm done, actually. So in conclusion, we are living in a pandemic, and we just have to adjust, guys. We have to adjust. We can't come to CMU anymore like we used to. If you come here, it's not for classes. It's for something else, right? But we just have to adjust to it. We have to adjust to the online situation. With the right mindset and proper organization of your personal lives, and I already gave you hints as to what you could do for that, we can make it better, right? So you can do well, persons have done well, and so can you. You just need to find your rhythm, right? Develop the best habits and be hopeful on this journey. So do not start school with a negative Betty attitude, right? It won't take you anywhere. You have to start positive, right? Speak to yourself and encourage yourself. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So you're making the first step. Well, maybe the second because you already applied. That's the first step. You've gotten in and you're about to begin. So you're now going to make the second big step and you are to make good use of it. Now, I don't know if there are any questions, if anybody has any. But if not, you can type in the chat, and there are persons there who are monitoring that, so you'll be able to get some answers. It was my pleasure being with you. Thank you for having me, and I am hoping that all of you will have an excellent academic year. The Lord bless you. Over to our moderator.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Davis. No, guys, I feel like these presenters are getting you nervous. And I want to say the most nerve-wracking portion of attending university is to apply. Because the minute you get that acceptance letter, it's really smooth sailing. So you have to learn to manage your time, as Mrs. Davis was saying. It's no joke. It is easy for you to lose focus. It is easy for the work to pile up on you, and that is because sometimes you get it, and it's due for 3 weeks, and you tell yourself that, let me wait. Let me wait until it's closer to 1 week. And then all these other little assignments, they pile up, and next thing you know, within these 3 weeks, you have 10 assignments doing, and you're wondering how you get here. And your mental health start crash, and your anxiety is kicking in, and you're upset with everyone and everything around you. And I want to say, if you manage your time more efficiently, if you manage your time more effectively, then definitely school would be a breeze for you. I am also going to encourage you guys to participate in physical activities, participate in extracurricular activities. I will tell you the clubs and societies are here to help develop you as a person. It will help you to gain, as we say in Jamaica, links. It will help with your presentations in class. It will help to give you this boost that you didn't know you wanted. And that is it for my little TED Talk with you guys. Thanks for listening. We will definitely be going into how to cope with our mental health, especially in a virtual classroom. So to speak on this issue, Mrs. Sharon Phillips Williams, Dean of Discipline for Pembroke Hall High School, will be addressing the issue to spread some light.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity to briefly address your students who are in the virtual space. But as we say at my school, it's school unusual, but it's school as usual. Let's look at the effects of COVID on education. And you will see there that it says children are not the face of this pandemic. Now, if we would just insert the word students instead of children, then, and anywhere we see children, if we speak about students, since I'm talking to a group of students, then it would still apply. So while it's not just about children or it's not just about students, we have been affected, the schools in general, whether they be tertiary institution, primary, whatever level, students have been seriously affected by this pandemic. All students of all ages in all countries are being affected. In particular, the socioeconomic impact and the mitigation measures. And the mitigation measures, as Jamaicans who like to party, who like to go about, we know how much this has affected us because we've been locked down and locked in for a while. But it's a part of what comes with COVID-19. Now, for us, from as early as March, we have been exploring alternatives to providing education, and we turn to technology, thus the virtual space. And we've used internet, we've used TV, we've used radio. We've tried all of these, but all of these come with challenges, okay? Access to technology is limited in many low and middle income countries, and ours is among those, especially among poor households. And in Jamaica, we're familiar with poor households. In this picture, we see this young man holding up his device, and he's making an effort to see what is on his device, but even more so, I think, to, as we say, find a hotspot, find somewhere where we can pick up the internet. And this has been our experience for many persons. They either have no connection, poor connection, some people have no devices, some do not have internet access, some don't have personal computers. And I'm sure there are these cases, some might say, really? But there are homes in Jamaica without television and some even without a radio. And so for these students, how do they learn? When it comes to the virtual space, how are they going to be able to access their education? So all of these different situations and learning inequalities just make it very frustrating. And some people have voiced their frustration, different people in different ways. We've seen the many videos that have been going around. I recall this one where this child just very frustrated, and her mom was trying to encourage her and saying, good job. And she just said, I am just tired of good job, because she was frustrated with online learning. And then we heard this other little man who said to the teacher to turn up her little voice. No, you know, because they're online doesn't stop them from being very outspoken and even disrespectful sometimes. You know, so this young man was saying, why he's going to be tuning teacher out sooner or later because she's not even turning up her little voice. And he seems to have other things that takes his attention more readily. And these are some of the challenges that come with virtual learning. We become frustrated, some people lose their temper, some people get angry, and it's not just the students, it's the teachers, it's the parents. So parents decide that they're going to march to schools and they're going to demonstrate and they're going to all kinds of acts. Is this the way? Is this how we want to manage our mental issues? Or is this how we want to be coping mentally? Do we want to be marching on schools and being angry? It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel unstable. It's okay to hide from the world. It's okay to need help. It's okay not to be okay. Your mental illness is not a personal failure. It's how we treat with it. And so I heard the previous speaker giving so many good recommendations. How do we deal with not feeling okay? How do we deal with feeling unstable? What do we do when the world is coming down? We can't get on the internet, we can't finish the assignments, we can't get the notes, we can't log on. All of these issues coming at us at the same time. What do? We become angry. But how do we express or explain that anger? Many of us choose to express the anger, so we express it by acting out, right? And some curse and some carry on. But the recommendation is to explain your anger instead of expressing it. Explain it instead of expressing it, and you will immediately open the door to solutions instead of arguments. So how do you explain your anger? Instead of acting out, instead of berating, instead of cursing, which is expressing your anger, one of the things that is recommended that counselors will recommend you to do is to use what we call iMessages. So instead of saying, you're gonna mash up this computer and make me tired of it, and I am feeling angry, I am feeling hurt, I am feeling frustrated because I am not getting on to my classes. When you say that to your teacher, instead of saying, Miss me no know why this, and Miss me no know why that, then it opens the room for discussion. It opens the room. The teacher is better able to understand what is the problem. And by knowing what the problem is, it's easier to find a solution. So we want to explain our anger, talk about how we are feeling, what we are feeling, and see if we can zero in on why it is that we are feeling these emotions instead of expressing them. Don't shout and bang and curse, but explain. So the stress is on. How do you ease the stress? The recommendation is don't work hard, work intelligent. Now, I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I can see some students perking up and say, okay, so Mrs. Williams said, don't work hard, so I don't have to work hard. Hard work is important, but it's how you go about it. Because working intelligently is hard work. Okay, it's hard work working intelligently, but some of us, we're just working, we're just doing things, we're collecting notes, we're researching, we're doing all kinds of things, and we're achieving nothing or very little. Now, when you look at this picture, you see these men, and if you notice, 4 of them are well dressed, jacket and tie and shoes, and and they're working, right? But they're pushing all, and there's a 5th man out front. Yes, he has chosen to work as well, but look at what he's wearing. And so it calls for adaptability. Looking at the present situation and how you can intelligently and creatively manipulate the situation. So you have this square. It's harder to push a square than to push a circle. So you have the tools. What tools do you have in your hands? And again, I'm just making reference to what came before because no need to repeat it. You have the different softwares, you have the different platforms, you have the different search engines. Make use of them. Here, this tool this man used was the knife, and he carved out. He got a square to start with. Everybody got the same thing like the others start, but he carved out a circle because he knows that it is easier. If it's round, that it is going to be easier for it to move and for him to get ahead. No wonder he's ahead of the others. They didn't come prepared. They didn't have the tool, and it doesn't even seem as if anybody is looking aside to say, let me borrow that tool and do what he did. Look at what he's wearing as well. Different. He has worn the kind of clothing that will accommodate this kind of work that he's doing. So you have to choose what best fits whatever assignment you're getting, what best fits the setting that you are in. And all of that you go towards to work more intelligently, as it says, work smarter, not harder. All right? So how else can we ease the stress? How can we work intelligently? Can we do it by ourselves? One way of working intelligently is to seek help. Seek help and help others. There are some people who are very selfish and they're always going to be seeking help. They want to know everybody doing this. How did you get that? Where did you go to get this? Could I borrow this from you? But they never offer to help others. No, teamwork makes the dream work. So when you can look to others as well as others look to you for help, then working together makes it so much easier. Again, let's look at this picture. We see 3 men, one at the front, and this one at the front looks like he's holding on for dear life, and he looks like he's in a very precarious position, and he could fall to his death. But guess what? There are 2 support behind him who have strong looking, well, they don't look so strong, but I take it they are strong. They seem to be managing it. They seem cool and composed. And with their help, he's able to reach over to the other side. Now, by the time he gets to the other side, this one in the middle, his work is half done. He's in the middle, and as soon as this one at the front steps forward, he's going to take him over. In the third picture, you see that he's over. And the one at the back hardly has anything to do, because as soon as the 2 in front walk over, they are going to actually carry him over. What's this saying? We are going to be needing to depend on each other more. It can't be about me, myself, and I, and being selfish. You have to reach out to your teachers, reach out to your peers, reach out to your classmates, reach out to wherever you need the help. And while you're reaching out, see how you can bring someone along with you too. Might be sharing a device. Some of you, what I read earlier about people having challenges doesn't apply to some of you. You know, some of you have everything that you need at home and more. And it would be a good idea if you could reach out to somebody. Might not be able to give them, but you could lend. You could say, okay, I can lend you this for such a period. Or you could come over. How about inviting somebody over to share, to use your internet, to sit on your veranda? Huh? to just stand at your gate and be able to access your Wi-Fi for just for that time. That would be a good idea. All right, because teamwork makes the dream work. Now, some of us are getting on quite fine, as I say, because we have all the amenities that we need. Others not getting as well as they would like to. They don't have all the things that they would need. But again, happiness is a state of mind. Having everything you need doesn't mean make you happy. There's so many people, and we've seen it. Moguls, people with everything that they need, everything, all that they could need, and they are very unhappy, even suicidal, if not having committed suicide. And you say, how? How could that be? It's because of their mental stability. What's happening in the mind? How happy are they? Happiness is a state of mind. It's according to the way that you look at things. So, here is some 3 men, again, 3 competitors it seems, or we could say 3 students. One got A, maybe A plus, one got B plus, and one got B. But who is celebrating the hardest? I hear you say the one with B, because he came third. Why is it that he's celebrating so hard? Because in his mind, he has truly achieved. He might be somebody who was getting C's all along. I know he's getting B. So he finds place for, you know what? This is success. I'm moving on. No, the man who get B plus, boy, it couldn't be like the man who get the B, the A man. And the man who got the A, he's really down in the drums. He's just so sad. This is a time for celebrating every little achievement, because life as we've seen it is so uncertain. So we want to achieve. Get in a good state of mind. Go out in the sun, all the things that are recommended. Yes, because the sunlight, that sunlight that was mentioned that you get the vitamin B from, that gives you all the joy. It opens up all those hormones and things that make you feel happy. And so you want to go out, you want to exercise, because again, that helps you to stir the happy hormones and make you feel happy. Don't sit and look at what you don't have. Don't sit and look at what's not happening for you. You want to go back to face. That might not come anytime soon, but you have something you can resort to. You have the virtual space, so make the best use of it. Feelings, checking on your feelings, because sometimes people are going down, they're becoming depressed and they don't even know. So check up on your feelings, not just yours, check up on your friends, check up on your family members, but and some people are good at checking in on others, some people are good at taking care of others, but they forget themselves. Don't leave yourself out. You must make some time for some me time. All right? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and say, this is not me. This is not how I should be feeling. What's making me feel this way? And you find that, try to identify the triggers, the things that make you unhappy, the things that make you feel overwhelmed. Is it that you're not properly prepared? Why are you overwhelmed? Is it that you're not doing your assignments on time? I heard some mention of time management, using a journal, using the calendar to make note of the times when assignments are due. When you have all of the things coming at you at the same time, you can become overwhelmed. So you want to manage your time. I'll speak about that a little more not long from now. Remember, again, I say, you're going to get angry, but it's how you treat the anger. It's how you the outlet, how you let that out. So find positive outlets, okay? Exercise. Party was mentioned, and we want to be careful with the partying. It can get some of us in problem, especially if we're partying on lockdown days. I'll just leave that at that. So we want to use positive outlets, but use them at the right time and in the right way. And seek out company. I heard that recommended. Yes, look for company. And I'm not saying that you have to have the whole world around you, but reach out for support. Spoken that already. So we move along. And just as somebody said, so by me talk to somebody, reach out to somebody, I reach out to anybody, because you can't trust people. You can't trust people, brother, with a say in Jamaica. And I know this is all, many students speak. You can't trust them. I say, you can't trust them, you can't trust them. You can't trust people. You find someone, there should be someone that you can trust, an accountability partner, a good friend. Don't keep it all in your head. Talk to someone. Reference was made to the counselors, the chaplain, all the support staff that you have at CMU, reach out to them. You have enough persons for you to be able to find someone that you can talk to and to talk about the concerns that you have. So, managing yourselves, time management, it is well established that time management is a major hurdle for college students because some people see college as a time, many of you, you're leaving country to come to town. And in your head, yes, man, just get away from home. You know from when you want to leave your parents' house. And so you see this as a time to get away and to go all over Kingston and to explore and every party and every tune you dance. No. Yes, there needs to be time for relaxation. Yes, there needs to be me time. But you must manage your time. Planning your time can definitely save you headaches. So these recommendations I heard earlier, use a notebook, use a planner or a software program to help you keep track of due dates, work schedules. Learn to plan ahead and avoid procrastination. Just today I had to respond to a couple students who were inboxing me to say, can you please reach out to this teacher, reach out to that teacher. My assignment was late, she's not accepting it, she's not. And I'm saying, you need to speak to the teacher yourself. When I listen to why it is that some of them have assignments that have not yet been submitted, it had nothing to do with Wi-Fi. It had nothing to do with not being able to access the internet. It's just simply not managing your time. Students, your work at this stage, and I know there are people who work. I know you have students who work, you have students who are just learning is just what they do now. But you have to know what your different situation is, and you have to manage your time accordingly. If you are somebody who is studying and you have a family and you have a job, there's going to be greater demand on you for managing your time. Okay? So you have to set goals. And you have to set smart goals. Remember, we said you have to work smarter, not harder. And when you set goals, set smart goals. And I think this is something that everybody knows by now what the SMART means. The goals, first of all, have to be specific. Broad goals are harder to define and harder to achieve. And here is where frustration comes in. Here is where the mental stress comes in, because many of you are setting goals that you cannot, it's just hard to achieve them. And some of the goals are so broad. They're so broad that really you don't even know what it is you're working towards because it's just too broad. All right? So you want to be able to set goals that are achievable. So you have assignment. You need to do some note taking, right? You have an assignment, but you need to do some notes, get some notes on it, and then you're going to do the assignment. So you say to yourself, I would like to have 10 pages of notes by 8 p.m. It's 6 o'clock. And you say, all right, I need 10 pages. I think if I get 10 pages of notes, then I'll be able to do this assignment and do it well. Okay, 10 pages of notes. Typewritten notes or handwritten notes? That's the first question, because 10 pages of typewritten notes, depending on what the assignment is, it's going to be a lot. Do you type quickly? Are you know, if you're going to be writing, do you write quickly? So 10 pages, is that achievable? Do you need 10 pages? Do you need 10 pages, right? And if it's 6 o'clock and at 7:30 you have 5 pages, you had already said 10 pages, but you have 5, that's halfway. That's good, isn't it? But if it's at 7:30 that you have 5 pages, you just have half an hour left. And you have half of the work left to do. So make sure that when you set the goals, they are specific, but they are also measurable. So 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, that's measuring. By 7:30, you know you have only half hour. Maybe half hour is a good enough time to finish, but maybe not. But this helps you to determine what progress you're making, if you're making enough progress so you can readjust, so you can realign, and you can know, well, that's not going to work. All right? Your goals have to be attainable. Know your capabilities. Know if you are able to achieve all of what you're saying you're going to achieve. Yes, you must raise the bar. Yes, you must aim high, but take it in strides. Don't look over at Tom and Tom is doing this well, so you want to do as Tom is doing when you don't have the capabilities that Tom has. You don't have the same situation. Tom is a full-time student. He's not working, he doesn't have a family. That's different. You have a job, you have a family, your goals are going to be different from Tom's, right? But you have to know how your limits are going to be. Let them be relevant. Relevant to your values, relevant to your belief system. I want to be rich. You want to be rich. I take it we all want to be rich, I suppose. But how are we going to achieve those goals? Are we going to be setting goals that are in line with our values so that we don't end up being dishonest, we don't end up stealing, we don't end up doing things that, you know, aren't the kind of things that would go along with our character, you know? I wouldn't want to earn money by gambling. Okay, so if that's how I'm going to get rich, that's not going to line up with my values and my belief system. It might do with yours, but it wouldn't with mine. And so when I set my goals, gambling cannot be a part of that. All right, I'd have to find another way. Investment, oh yes, and depending on what I invest in. So they must be relevant and they must line up with your value system. And it has to be time bound. So again, we spoke about between 6 and 8. So if you start out at 6 o'clock and at 7:30, when you look at the time that is left and you realize, look, I did say 8 o'clock, it's 7:30 and I'm at this place, and you know you are in trouble. All right? But if at 7:30 you are well on your way, 75%, then you know that yes, you're getting there. Now, if you don't have a time limit, you never set any time, you will be going on, and you don't know when you're going to end. You don't, you know, you just crash and burn. This leads to frustration. This is how you become frustrated. So, SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And when the time comes, if you said 8 o'clock, stop at 8, reassess, and decide whether you want to set a new time or you're going to let it be for this time and you pick it up another time. All right? Because if you set 8 and when 8 comes, you're downright tired. It makes no sense you go on and on. Okay? You will need to take a break. All right. So you need to seek help. And there are several helplines that are available. There are hotline numbers, there are social services, and here are a few. We have the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, used to be the Children's Services, okay? Or Family Court, and it's a combination of several of these. The number there, you have one that is called No Excuse for Abuse, and there's a line for female callers, there's a line for male callers. There's a Victim Services Division, there is Choose Life for those who might feel suicidal. There's a place, if you feel suicidal, if you're having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations, these ideas come into your head, reach out. Okay? You have the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and they have lines for different areas, different needs. And there's Rise Life Management Services, because when many, and especially young people, when you come upon stress, I find that a lot of young people turn to drugs. Again, I heard a speaker before saying, maybe drink something. Again, it speaks to your value system. I would say don't drink at all. But if you are open to that, then be very careful with what you drink and how much of that you drink, okay? Because drinking can become addictive. Of course, you know, the other drugs, marijuana, all of those, that so many school children and youth and even adults are, you know, very often prone to get hooked on these things. So you need all of those. And I've left this for last, but it's, for me, it would not be the last thing. It would be maybe it's what I would begin with. God hears you, even when you can't find the words to say. And so here is the empty page. You have that assignment. You can't budge, you just can't find the right words. You don't know how to begin. The page is blank, and the tears begin to come down because you're frustrated. I say, take it to the Lord in prayer. There's a song, so when you've tried everything and everything failed, try Jesus. I say, try Jesus first. But if we just spoke about everything else, if you've tried all of those things, and you didn't try Jesus first, you didn't take it to the Lord, I give you Jesus. I recommend that you pray every time you are going to do an assignment, every time you go to class, you wake up in the mornings, you go to bed, throughout the day. Pray, because God is always listening. And this song says that tears are a language and God understands. So when your tears are there, He knows. And I tell you, for me, my experience has been, this has been my best mental health way of coping with mental health issues, prayer. Reading my Bible, turning to God. I don't know. Some might have problem with that. This is my recommendation, and you know what it is that makes you your stress and relieves your mental illness. This is mine, and this I recommend strongly. And so I want to thank you once again for the opportunity to address you briefly. I want to thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I hope when you go online, when you go in the virtual classroom, when you go in the virtual space, the next time you'll remember some of these things that I recommended, that we spoke about, and you'll be able to use them. Thank you again, and have a good day.
Once again, thank you for sharing this day with us. I would also like to share special thanks to our CMU Interim President, Professor Evan Dugan, CMU Deputy President, Professor Abraham Ajoguno, our CMU VP of Administration of the University Registrar, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, other CMU Vice Presidents, our academic deans, Director of Student Affairs, Donette Phillips, our Student Union President, Stephanie Green, other CMU members of staff, and lastly, but by no means least, big up Spartans, and thank you for sharing today's orientation with us.